All right, folks, we're in for a very exciting show. We're going to have some amazing ladies of music that'll be joining us here on Mullings Music and Memory. So it's going to be a great conversation. I know that I was talking to my friend Nellie Tiger Travis, and we were talking about all these exciting women that are doing some great things in the music field and are doing some truly amazing things as far as their music and all of that. We know a number of folks are paying attention to what's going on in the world, paying attention to a number of concerns that are happening in the world, whether that's things going on with the virus, whether that's things that are happening in other aspects of society, as well as, of course, waiting for the Biden administration to take hold in January. And of course, we still got folks that are being stubborn, still doing suits and other things, claiming that there is still fraud and other things going on, even though everybody else knows that they have lost the election. But some folks just want to be stubborn and don't want to know what's going on in the world. But we've got all kinds of great and amazing folks that are going to be joining us in this conversation. Looking forward to having a great dialogue about what they're doing. And so I'm going to bring in some of the folks, including some folks that I know from the world. So definitely the world of the music is very exciting. So looking forward to that. I see my friend Tim Sohn has popped in and has made a comment. He's watching us from Pennsylvania. I don't know if he had watched the earlier show where we were talking about nutrition and all of that, but definitely, who knows, he may decide to pop in as well. But I'm going to start off with maybe talking to Nellie, since Nellie is the version that brought me all of these amazing ladies, and then we'll be bringing them in one by one as well. So right now, I'm going to bring Nellie back on and everything. How you doing, Nellie Tiger Travis? And definitely glad to have you here with me and everything. And definitely we'll be bringing in these other amazing ladies, and y'all can talk about what y'all are doing and everything. But how are you doing on this particular Monday that we're on? We just had some serious rain here in North Carolina last night. I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods, but we had all kinds of rain. But how are things going where you are, and how is the life treating you on this particular Monday, Nellie? And then, like I said, I'll bring in some of these other amazing ladies. I don't know all who will be joining, but I know we've got Dee Simon and Terrell, and I see that
Simon.
Aaron Wolfe is with us as well. So some other ones may be joining us. And Tim just said that it's raining where he's at. He's over there in Pennsylvania. So he's in Pennsylvania, and he was letting me know that it's raining there. Like I said, we had rain earlier, and we may be getting some more rain later. So how are things going where you are and all of that? So I'd love to know
Well,
how
it
things
it
are.
did a little. It looks a little cloudy today. It wasn't rain early this morning when I went out, but it was kind of bad last night. It rained forever. I
Yeah.
mean, like really forever last night. So, but even so, it's pretty good. It's not. It's a little cold. It kind of reminds me of Chicago a little bit, but those are some things that we have to get used to. At least it's not snowing,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
true.
a good thing.
No snow, and I'm not a big fan of snow. I went to school in Milwaukee, so I saw enough snow back in the early 80s. I don't need to see it anymore. Not the big snow or anything along those lines. I'm going to bring in Miss Dee Simmons and a couple of the other ones
Simon,
as well. So definitely we'll
Simon.
bring in Jess as well. How you doing? And everybody, glad to see y'all on here. We're going to bring in some
Hey.
other folks and see how everybody's doing. So I'm interested to learn more about y'all. I've met Nellie Tiger Travis, and I know a little bit about her musical background, being a blues DJ for a number of years. But I'd love to
Right.
hear about you, Terrell, and I'd love to hear about you, Dee Simmons. And I've actually had the pleasure of playing Karen Wolf's music, so I think I'll bring Karen in as well next. But I'd love to hear a little bit about you. So I'll start with you, Jess. Tell us a little bit about your musical background and what you're all about, because I know that you are involved in this great project that's going on with all of you great ladies. But I'd love to know more about you, Jess. So I'm turning it over to you first, and then I'll come to Dee as well, who I understand is one of the masterminds behind organizing this whole thing. So I'll turn it over to you first, Jess.
Yes, I am from Chicago. I'm living currently in DC. My musical background come from gospel singing. My father was a gospel singer. He sung with the Soul Stirrers in his early years. And my uncle was also a singer. He sung with the Impressions. My grandmother raised me and brought us into the church, and we were singing gospel music. By the time I turned 16, that I decided to sing the secular music. And when I got older, I decided I wanted to sing blues and Southern soul. So that's where I've been in the last 20 years.
Okay, sounds great. And I'm definitely a big fan of Southern Soul. Dee, tell me a little bit about yourself. And then I just saw in the chats that Karen's telling me that it's actually snowing in Memphis. I don't know if I could get with snow in Memphis, but we'll bring
Man.
her afterwards. But definitely tell me
Oh
a little bit about yourself,
no.
Dee.
Hi, my name is Dee Simon. I'm originally from Oakland, California. I've been singing since the age of 4. I started singing in the project Dream Girls as it was introduced to me from a theater group. And my first solo was Precious Lord. I'll never forget it. And after that, I couldn't stop. I started writing stage plays that I funded to go from state to state. I started doing albums as people thought that it would be a good idea to help me do that. No one in my family sings. Nobody, and you don't want to hear them either. No one in nobody in this family sings. So I was the loudest in the house. We had the loudest house on the block, and here I am still singing.
It's interesting you said that nobody in your family sings, and like I said, I'm going to bring Karen in and talk to her as well as a couple of other guests that y'all have assembled for me and everything. But it's interesting that you said that because one of the other podcasts that I do earlier on the IBM TV network, there was a gentleman, Jan Cooper, who is a vocal coach from the area of Canada, and he was claiming that anybody could sing, and I was going like, nope, I know I cannot sing. I know my skill set, it's radio and other things, but he was claiming that anybody could sing, and he was also claiming that we need to learn how to sing in other languages because sometimes we miss the market because we're not singing toward those folks that might be in other languages. So he's trying to teach folks how to sing in like Mandarin and Latin kind of dialects and other things. So that's one of the things he was encouraging folks, and he was of the opinion that everybody can sing, but I'm not of that opinion. But right now, I'm going to bring in Karen and everybody, and I think we've got one or two other ones. Oh, there's Tiffany. So, and then I'll bring in Karen as well. So there we go. There's Karen. Karen Wolfe has joined us as well as Tiffany. I was telling Nellie Tiger Travis that I've actually had the pleasure of playing some of Karen Wolfe's music, being a blues DJ in the area. So I'm friends with the folks from Echo and some of the blues labels that are out of Memphis. So they had actually told me about Karen sometimes back, and I've worked for a number of radio stations, Central being one of them, WNCU, and then now WCOM. So I've actually had the pleasure of hearing some of your music, and I'm a big fan of yours, but I'm not a big fan of the fact that there's snow in Memphis. So you have to tell me about how there's snow going on in Memphis.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of that either. It's just, don't get afraid, ladies. It's just snow flurries. That's it. That's it.
Oh, we're
what? Don't be afraid. It's just snow flurries. That's it. That's it. Everything is okay. Let us all calm down. It's gonna be okay. But hi, I'm Karen Wolfe. I'm happy that you were able to listen to my music and became a fan of Karen Wolfe music. I really appreciate that. My musical background began in gospel also. Began maybe at the age of about 5 or 6 years old. My father was a quartet singer, and he sang in a quartet group. So we used to just all gather around and sit down and watch his group as they rehearsed at our house. And I was just in awe of it. It just, kind of made me happy to hear them sing. And I was like, I can do that. And my dad was like, oh, really? Yeah, you can do it? You can do it? So I said, yeah, I think I can do that, Dad. So he just sat me down and he started singing to me and teaching me how to sing different parts and different melodies. And I just kind of took it from there. So at 15, I decided to start my own gospel group with my sister and a couple other ladies. And we did that for years, for a number of years. We put out about 3 gospel albums. And after that, my musical career moved up to singing the blues, singing background for Denise LaSalle. So here I am. In about 2006, I started out on my own. She kicked me out the nest and said, it's time for you to do it on your own. So I said, okay, if you say so. I had to leave the nest and go ahead and do it on my own. So since 2006, there's been Karen Wolfe ever since. And here I am.
doing some great things and everything. I did want to get to Tiffany as well. But before I get to Tiffany, tell folks that are not as familiar with the Memphis music scene what that is like. And then, of course, I love to hear from Nellie about Chicago and Atlanta. But I'd love to hear your take on the Memphis music scene, because I know it was a few years back that I went to one of the big music awards that takes place there and really enjoyed the vibe of Memphis and definitely want to get back to that area. But just if you could share a little bit about what that whole music scene is like in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, the music scene here in Memphis, Tennessee is really huge. It's just like Chicago and, all of the the places where they have the big music festivals. We have a thing called Memphis in May. And that is huge. Of course, we couldn't have it this year because of the virus, but every year there's Memphis in May, and people come from all walks of life, all around to come from Memphis in May. And they have some of the greatest artists there. And, it's just from the biggest artist in the world to the smallest artist in the world. They pretty much give everybody a chance. And that's what I like about it. It's just a big festival where everybody come, listen to all of the music, all types of music. And that is just awesome. It's fun. It's a
It
lot of
sounds like
fun.
it sounds like it's a lot of fun and everything. So, Tiffany, if you would, I'd love to hear a little bit about you and everything. So, if you can turn yourself off of mute and share with our audience a little bit about yourself and what your musical background is, I'm sure folks would love to hear about your journey as well.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Tiffany Robinson. My stage name is Tip the Singer, and I have been singing soul music for about a year now. And so, of course, just like everyone else, my background, I started in church, and I'm just like Dee Dee, I'm the only one in my family that sings. So every funeral and everything is me. So, and and I've always loved to sing, and I always sung background. So that was really kind of like where I came from. And in church, my grandmother made me get up and sing and do solos. So I would say I've been singing ever since I was a little girl. I was in community choirs, singing, and it's a lot. I'm from Dallas, Texas, so there's a lot of great artists down here. And so as far as the blues and Southern soul, I started out dancing, and so I would go and listen to the different bands. So I would go to the Blues Palace and hear RL and different live bands. I would go and participate. And one day, a band was playing, and it was a featured artist there, and she was calling different people up to sing. And so I was just like, oh, I think I want to try it. And so I went up and I sung. And ever since then, that's where my relatable experience was. I love the feeling. I love the fact that the audience was engaging and I enjoyed it. And so I went into the studio and tried it. My first time was horrible. But after that, I just really realized that it was something I really wanted to do. I enjoy doing. And that was really my start, but definitely not my finish. So I was able to sing at the Blues Palace and open up for a lot of artists. I did the We Are the World, which is with Dee Dee. And so it was just an awesome experience. And I'm just excited. I'm kind of rather new to it, but I'm definitely not new to the music industry. And so it's been fabulous. It's been fabulous. It's been a wonderful experience.
It sounds like it's been a great journey for you and everything.
It
Want to bring
has.
Crystal into the conversation as well. So Crystal can share a little bit about her background as well. So Crystal, it's your turn to tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to Southern soul and blues music and gospel and whatever other musical connections you've got. So I'd love to hear more about you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Hello, Queens. Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Thomas. I'm from a little country town called Mansfield, Louisiana. C'est les bon ton les rouler. Let the good times roll. Y'all know how we do it down south. Just as everyone else, I started in church. I've been singing since the age of 2. My mother sang. My dad played guitar. All of my grandparents, my cousins, everyone was in the church choir. I actually majored in music in college. The alumni of Jackson State University. I had the privilege of playing with Mr. Johnny Taylor before he died, playing trombone. I've been writing music since the 5th grade and producing since the 7th. I have been singing, and especially the blues, coming up with my grandparents' Muddy Water, John Lee Hooker. So I've been singing that deep toe-tapping blues all my life. Coming on the scene, I did my first album in 2015, and now I'm working on my third, and it's just a privilege to be able to work amongst so many phenomenal and talented women like the queens. And again, just honored to be here. So that's it for me.
Definitely sounds like y'all are doing some great things and all of that. So, Dee, if you could, I would love to hear more about how this whole Queens process came about, because I understand that you were one of the people that was kind of like at the forefront of everything that was going on. So I'd love to hear more about how this whole process came about. And of course, we've got 6 of the ladies. So if you want to tell us about the other 4 that are not here, and maybe they'll join us later, but if you want to share a little bit of their story as well and how this whole project came about, I'd love to know that from you.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I was sitting there and I was like, I want to do this amazing project with ladies because the Southern Soul genre of music is dominated by the males. And I said, well, how can I do something bigger than that? I want to do something bigger than that. And I really didn't know. I said, well, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to make a wish list of who I would want to have on the album with me. I know there are a lot of Southern Soul female singers, but this was my personal wish list. Okay, didn't mean nothing about nobody else, but I went for my personal wish list. So I had a receipt in the car, and I was sitting in the car while my son was playing basketball, and I just started writing down the names, and then I'd be like, will they do it? And I put a question mark by them. I'll move it down to the bottom. Then I just kept making this list. Then finally, I got the nerves to kind of call some of the people. Like I already worked with Crystal and Tip and Miss Pat. So I knew that we had a good experience. And the first thing we did, We Are the World. I said, well, I'm just going to hope they say yeah. And I say, I'm busy, And they said yes. So I didn't ask them first because I already worked with them. I was more comfortable with talking to them. But the Nellies and the Karens, I didn't know what the heck they was going to say. I kept milling around with it, and then one day I just said, let me call, and I just inboxed them, and I wouldn't say anything, but, just to see if they would even say anything to me. I just said, hey, and then, then they'll reach back and be like, hey, so I said, okay, conversation is starting. So that's when I just, say, hey, I want you to do something with me. And, Nellie was like, well, what are you talking about? Now that I know how she talked, I can hear how it was said. But she said, well, let me talk to you about it. And we talked about it, and we just really connected with how we, talk and vibe, and we're very upfront and we're real. So, it was easy. And she said that she would be a part of it. But I knew that coming to Nellie and Karen, not taken from any of the other ladies, it had to be right because they've been out there a long time and they, pretty much laid the foundation. So I couldn't come with no mess, So I kind of let them know who I had on my wish list, and they kind of agreed with it. Some of the people they didn't know, but I encouraged them. No, they sound really good. Listen, they don't know a lot of these people because they're up there. So when I moved to Karen, it was the same thing, and Karen was like, I didn't know what they was going to say. I just, hey, let's do this, and Karen was like, okay. And then we start talking more and everything just started coming together, and then I was like, y'all want to be a part of this? I can ask Tip and Crystal and Jesi and all them, do they want to be a part of this? Because I got whoop the whoop on this project, and it sounded a lot more sweeter. So putting the project together, it became more of a sisterhood. Mm-hmm. It became, more of something that is real. Everything is not going to be easy. Everybody's not going to agree, but that's what you expect as sisters, and I expect that. And so it became more than what I ever dreamed of it being, because we pretty much have each other's back. If you see us do an interview, we're talking about all the people in this group. It's not us get off. I'm like, hold on, let me tell you about what's going on. I got these fabulous ladies. So we're always uplifting each other, and that meant the most to me. And it put a lot of people on notice that, hey, ladies, we need to do this. We need to get together and take over this market. So I'm grateful that they were a part of it. Lady Q and the other people that are here, Zelda, Miss Pat, Crescenda, and I think that's it.
All right. Definitely sounds like it's a great project, and I know a lot of folks are going to be looking forward to hearing it and all of that. So definitely, I know a lot of folks are going to be really excited when they hear the music and everything. Was there anybody, Dee Dee, that you were hoping that you would get on your wish list that for whatever reason you weren't able to get them, or that you still would like to have them if there's a part two or part three, or is there anybody that's on that wish list that you had? Because like you said, you kept a list, and I'm wondering if there's anybody that was on that list that you haven't had the nerve to reach, or that you've been trying to reach but you haven't quite gotten to them. So I was just wondering if there's anybody in that list, because you have some amazing ladies already.
Yes, well, the list, the only two nervous ones were the ones in it already, but Lacey, I did reach out to Lacey, and they never responded. So, and actually, to keep it really straight, she never even looked at the message. So I don't know who works her messenger, and I don't really have her number, and I didn't want nobody reaching out to her before me and saying, "Hey, Dee Dee's trying to reach you." I wanted it to be from the grassroots. So I'm going to see her next weekend, and I'll be able to talk to her and be like, "Hey, girl, why you didn't hit me back?" You know. But other than that, that was the other person.
Gotcha. So Nellie, when you found out about this project, tell me a little bit about your thoughts about the project when you first heard about it, and your excitement about being on this project. And I'd like to hear the same from Karen, but I'll start with Nellie, and then I'll hear from Karen, since y'all are the all-stars that are part of the list according to the way Dee Dee has described everything. So I'd love to hear from Nellie what your thought was when Dee Dee approached you.
Well, in the beginning, I couldn't get excited because she was like, "I'm doing a project, you in?" And I'm like, I don't answer to stuff like that. I'm used to people coming to me, you know, kind of like on the straight thing. And she said, "Well, I told her I was going to need more information." And she gave me more information. I'm like, that's cool. Because I told her, I said, you know, living in Chicago for years, I tried to get females together, and it was hard because they were just so females. You know what I'm saying? So when she did mention, after she explained everything, I'm like, I'm in 200%. I mean, it's an awesome experience. And like she said, we have gathered a sisterhood, and I just enjoy talking to them because, you know, I'm just the fool in the bunch. I like to have fun. And I'm also the peacemaker, you know, if there's any peace out of order. We've always done pretty well, though. But that was I'm so excited that she did it. And what we tend to do is carry it on further than we are now with other females. You know, a lot of females jumped in and they're saying, "Oh, well, she didn't bother to get me, or she didn't do this." You know, it's only so many people at so many times, but there is opportunities for other ladies to join us.
Sounds great. Karen, I'd love to hear your reaction when Dee Dee approached you and everything. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts were when you first got this project and it came to you. And it sounds like you had that same kind of reaction where it was some newbie that was approaching you in terms of like the knowledge base and everything. So what was your thoughts when you heard from Dee Dee?
Well, actually, I didn't consider her as a newbie because she had already won an award. So that to me was pretty big. I was like, okay, I liked her spirit as well too. So I'm like, so Dee Simon is the stuff out there, huh? She won the award and everything. So you know, I was like, okay, I love her spirit. Every time I met her a few times, and every time I met her, her spirit was the same. You know, it was always that bubbly, happy-go-lucky type person, and I'm that same kind of person. So I love when those, you know, when I meet those type spirits. So when she called, I was like, what's going on here? You know, with Dee Dee calling. But when she called, she was such a humble person. It was no problem for me to go ahead and say, I call myself Leery Lily because I'm leery of everybody. You know, I'm kind of nervous when it comes to joining in with other people. I'm like Nellie on that one with other women because, you know, sometimes we can be catty, and I'm like, and I just didn't want the cattiness. But when she started naming off the people, and I assumed, I know I'm all over the place, but I assumed that she had already talked to Nellie, and Nellie had already told her, hey, I don't answer to no stuff like that. So when she came to me, she gave me a little more information than she did Nellie. So I guess she had already dealt with Nellie. So she was like, I better give her a little bit more information. So she gave me a little more information. So when she did, I immediately said yes. when she named out the ladies, because I already knew most of the ladies, just not all of them. I think Tip the singer was one I didn't know. I had met Zelda, but didn't even remember that I had met her, and I think that was about it that I didn't know, because I already knew Crystal. Jesi came on later, but I already knew her. Of course, Nellie and I go way back. So, and I already knew Lady Q, and Lady Q was, like a good friend to me too. So I already knew most of them. And when she named off the people that she had, of course, not taking anything from any other ladies, but when she said Nellie, that was a go for me from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my sister from another mother. You know what I'm saying? So when she said Nellie, that just automatically gave it for me. And then when she started naming the rest of them, Crystal and Lady Q, and she was like, oh, I said, who is Tip? She said, oh, she can sing. So I looked her up immediately, and I was like, yeah, she can sing. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this may be a good thing. Okay, I'm gonna lay Leary Lily to the side, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So I'm here, and I have enjoyed it from the very beginning up to now. It has been an awesome project. These ladies are wonderful. The ones that's on here, the ones that are not on here, we have just been having a ball. And it's just really odd to see 10 ladies get together and really empower each other and really encourage each other and mean it from our hearts. And that's the thing that just has been drawing me ever since. These are like my sisters. I have 9
the best is yet to come.
Got some new sisters and everything. That's a great thing. And I know we had one of the audience members, Miss Amelia McDonald, said lots of strong women on the show. So she was noticing that y'all were some great strong women. And she was also saying to Tiger Travis that you were definitely got that shiny outfit on. So she was saying how shiny you are.
The business. Thank you, Amelia.
So she was noticing that and everything. But one of the things I was curious about, and I had talked to Nellie Tiger Travis about this, but I'd love to hear from all of y'all. And I think Laquita is on as well, but I don't see her face on. So hopefully she'll put on her camera and we can get her onto the whole conversation as well. But one of the things that we've talked about, me and Nellie Tiger Travis, is just the impact of the industry. And one of my founders here on IBM TV is a woman entrepreneur. So I just wondered if y'all could talk about how ladies are treated in the industry, because I do find that sometimes y'all don't get the kind of respect that y'all should get. So I'd love to hear from all of y'all in that regard. So I'll start with you, Dee Dee, and then we'll go to some of the other ones. Dee Dee's good at whole next thing. So I'll let the others talk as well. Then we'll bring in Laquita as well. But after we have this conversation, then I'll bring in Laquita. But Dee Dee, talk a little bit about what's going on with the industry and how women are treated by the mainstream record industry and even in the blues industry.
Well, I was signed to Interscope for a while, and it's very different. You know how you see all the entourages that the males have. Women don't get those entourages. It's pretty much the male wants to hook up, so they don't really want you to have no entourage, really. And at the end of it, either you put up or you shut up. And I used to be I was very how do you say? I adored the women that had their parents that managed them, because they didn't have to go through that. The Brandies and the Monicas and all of them didn't have to go through that. But for a woman coming up trying to make it, it's like, well, hey, I like you. So how far you really want this to go? And I personally, when I was told that, I packed my stuff and I said, well, I'll tell you how far I'm going to go. I'm going back home. So I packed out my stuff, and I didn't feel that it was, I didn't feel like it ruined my career. It just wasn't my route. It wasn't my route. So I feel like men, they know that, they are dominant. So they dominate the radio. They dominate the shows, they dominate the promotions, they're more the managers. So if you don't have a strong foundation and not lay down for anything, then you'll get sucked up. I've seen so many women that just think, well, if I'm with them, he's going to make sure I'm going to get to the next level. And they never got to the next level, and they were brokenhearted, So, and it happens. And I always had the motto for women: if you want to lay down with somebody, that's cool. But do it because you like them. Don't do it because you're trying to get a record. And I can't just lay down with you for a record. I got to at least like you. Okay. So That's why I say, you know, either you in or you out. Either you in or you out. They just, it's not fair. And the women, and even, okay, so even the women that in the Southern Soul, even the women that come see the shows for the men, they come see the shows for the men, and they, you know, they love the men. We know that, we get that. But when their hearts get broke, then they want to put on our songs, you know. So we just want the same draw. We know we here for when your heart get broke and when you want us to twerk. You understand? Or when we got to share you with somebody else. But you'll be with them. You'll come pack the place out for the men who broke your heart. So it just don't make no sense to me. So it don't really help us. That's how I have to say.
Yep. Jesi, I'd love to hear your take on this as well. And I also want to bring in the concept of radio. Like I said, I've worked in the radio field, having worked at mostly nonprofit radio stations, but I got friends in the commercial radio space, and I know that a lot of times they don't give enough respect to even giving you ladies play and things of that nature. And sometimes you got to go to the small stations like the college stations and the other stations. But I was wondering if you could talk about even the impact of radio and how they treat you ladies on the radio market. Because I know that, as many folks know, there's only about 2 or 3 primary forces in the radio world, whether that's Clear Channel, whether that's Radio One, or a number of the other ones. And a lot of times they'll leave out Southern Soul. But I'd love to hear your take on what's going on.
It's definitely hard to get into mainstream radio. I have tried several times, even if just by sending my music to DJs that I knew that was on mainstream radio, and they never respond back. They never play it. They don't even send the album back to you. At least give me some feedback. I have put in writing, if you can give me a little feedback to tell me what it is I need to do to even get into the mainstream, I would appreciate that. But never hear a word from them. That's the only problem I have ever had with the radio. You know, with a lot of internet radios, they're looking for you to pay them. Okay, they'll start out playing your music, and then they'll come back to you later and say, well, for $50 a month, we'll put you in rotation. If we ran into some of that with the women. I don't know about the men, if they're having that problem, but it seems like it's always about money when it comes down to
What about you, Tiffany? What's been your experience with us? What's been going on in the music industry and the radio industry, even in some of the concerts and things of that nature?
Well, of course, I'm very new to the industry, and I have like one single out right now. And I would say that I have gotten pretty good responses as far as them actually playing my song, but as far as keeping it in rotation, I would say that I don't really hear of that. And I do see that on the flyers there are a lot of men, so the men are really, dominating as far as their songs, because they can talk about anything, and if it's catchy, the women are going to naturally gravitate to it. I mean, and don't get me wrong, we dance, we're the entertainers. They sing, and then we entertain the men. We do. We dance, we twerk, we do whatever we do. And so if they do any kind of relatable song, I mean, they can talk about anything. I mean, he's my friend, but Little Jimmy have a song called No Draws On. And I mean, they play it all the time because it's catchy and it's just something that people gravitate to. So I do feel that at sometimes that it's like talent does not always overrule what's popular, if that makes any sense. And also, when you are dealing with people that are kind of popular, that they like, their songs are going to be more in rotation versus a new person or a woman. So it's just kind of hard. And you really got to, it seems as if we have to work a little bit harder, which is why I'm so grateful of being a part of this sisterhood, because we really cover each other and we push each other. And so that's the good thing about it. But yeah, it is definitely a struggle. But we're persevering.
Definitely, no doubt about that. Karen, I'd love to hear some of your reflections. You've been in the industry for a number of years, so I'd love to hear some of your thoughts as to how the industry has treated you. I know that I'm a big fan of what I call message music, even in some of Southern Soul, and there have been some folks that have definitely put out some songs like that. Like, I'm a fan of Shamika Copeland, and we know that she's done some songs that have touched on some really hard issues. Also, the late great Debbie did some stuff. Deborah Coleman did some stuff that was around some very serious issues and things of that nature. But I don't oftentimes find that enough of those are getting through. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I know sometimes when I hear some of those songs, whether it's about abuse, whether it's about some of the things that Shamika Copeland had talked on, even about Black Lives Matter, that I don't always feel that it gets the kind of airplay that it should get. But I was just wondering your thoughts.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with the other ladies, Dee Dee, Jesi, and Tiffany, as far as it being um, a one-way street, I would say. Um, I've had some good experiences and some bad experiences. The music industry now, as far as male versus female, the males are definitely more dominant. They can get one hit song, and you can have 10 playing on the radio, and they will definitely override whatever those 10 songs that female is having played on radio, and gravitate to that one song that one gentleman is singing. The shows, when you get on shows with them, there's not a whole lot of respect for women. They want to throw the woman up there first because it's one woman on the show. They'll do 10 men and one woman on the show, and then they'll throw her over to open up the show and get her out the way, unless you have, such a big hit as Nelly have, Mr. Sexy Man, then, you may get a little more respect. But I'm sure even Nelly, as big as her song is, have experienced some of the same things. They just will get you in a place of wanting to address it with them, but then sometimes some things are better left unsaid, when it comes to that. And even radio, when it's time for the ladies' music to be played, again, they will choose that one song that the whatever male that is whatever the song. I'm like Tiffany, no draws on. Come on, I mean, really, and they'll just take that, and that means everything to some people. You know what I'm saying? They'll take just that one line, no draws on. Oh, he's talking about no draws on. Oh, that's the jam. No, it's not the jam to me. Because sometimes you have to put things into perspective and say, okay, things have to be a little more, how do you say, what's the word I'm trying to use, ladies? A little more, you have to have a little more taste with some of the music out there. You don't always have to be tasteless with music to get it played, because some of us have some of the best music out there, and because we're women, we just don't get the respect of getting it played right away. We don't. And I have several songs that's being played on radio, but you wouldn't know it when it comes to doing a show. You wouldn't be able to know that, because the first thing they want to do is put Karen Wolfe up to go ahead and get out the way so all the men can come up and do their thing. So, it's almost a lose-lose situation sometimes. But like Tiffany say, and like Dee Dee say, and like Jesi say, we're going to persevere and we're going to press through it. And women are going to come on top, because we run this world.
No doubt about that. I mean, y'all got a woman vice president who I am convinced will be president probably before everything is said and done and everything. So I definitely think that she's on that fast track to being the first female president, Miss Kamala Harris, and everything. So I think that will probably happen at some point or another. But Crystal, I'd love to hear your take on the music industry. And just to add to the conversation, I agree with y'all that sometimes the women might have a song that is a very popular song. It might even be a song that's very popular and folks love the song. They might even love the double entendre, because one of the things I love about Southern Soul is it's got some great double entendres. But then sometimes that musician kind of disappears. And I'll even give an example. I was a big fan of a Texas musician by the name of Vicki Baker. And Vicki Baker did that song called Don't Give Me No Lip, and then she just kind of like disappeared, even though that was a classic double entendre song. And then I understand that she might be trying to make some comebacks on occasion now and everything, but I am hearing that from some of my Texas friends that she's on the road to making somewhat of a comeback. But she had that song that was a number of years back, and that was after that song that we kind of like saw her fade off the scene there for a while. But Crystal, I'd love to hear your take on the music industry. Don't know if Crystal heard me and is waiting to hear from Crystal if she's got any comments. So I'll see if I can get her. She might be on mute. So I'll see if I can get
She
her
is
off
on
of
mute.
mute.
She is a
Yep.
Crystal.
Yeah. It's on her end, so she had to unmute on her side. If she's there, you go.
Okay, she's got it now. Go back again, Crystal. It's okay. You're good.
Hello, can y'all hear me? Okay, I'm off mute.
Yep.
I personally think the music bar has been lowered, has been dropped so far. I hear mainstream songs that aren't musically correct, in the wrong key, people singing out of tune. And these are the people that get the most radio play. These are the people that are on the top of the charts. These are the ones that get the most shows. As far as being a woman out here, I think the respect for us overall is so small to where it's hard to respect the talent and the skill set that we possess. So now it's not just that we're women out here singing and playing and doing all these great things that the men are doing, but we're considered to be threats now because we can do it just as good as they can. And without the opportunity, a lot of people never get to see that. On radio, a lot of the mainstream radio don't even play a lot of Southern Soul because it's not mainstream. Therefore, a lot of your best artists never get heard. A lot of the program directors are afraid to play the music that's relevant now. They still want to play all of the greats. And even if you look at the music reviews and the shows that are out, most of those greats are dead and gone. So we are the greats now. We are the up and coming greats. And we need that radio play to get in front of the people. The industry is totally different than it was 30 years ago. So where you had record companies and labels going out doing the work. Now everybody pretty much getting it out the mud. So we have the same opportunity to get heard. But unless the program directors and the promoters, and even with the men, I don't want to be on shows where men look at us as just some female doing something. I want to feel safe around my brothers out here on the road singing these songs. I want to know that there's room for songs with a message in it. Because there's the people we need that. We don't need to hear no clown music all day long. I know people who would not come.
Yeah. I think she dropped off and everything, so hopefully she'll come back. But yeah, she was giving some serious knowledge, so hopefully she'll come back. But Nellie, I'd love to hear from you, and then I'm also going to bring in Laquita as well. But I'd love to hear your takes on the industry, and then we'll bring in Laquita so folks can learn about her and her connection to the Queen's Project as well. But Nellie, let me hear your takes on what's going on in the music industry.
Well, for me, I've been through the storm. You know, I've been on a lot of shows with the guys, and they treated me as if I was a guy. You know, it was no sophistication. It was no my sister, you know, that type of thing. And I've always complained about that. But I think with us, the way we're set up now, the way we're setting each other up, we're going to be doing our own shows. You know, we're totally open for the first show you book for the next year coming up. We're ready for that. We're totally ready. But with a lot of the guys, I think what it is, women love music, men love music, but for somehow women dominate over their males. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys, you will not just see guys at female shows because of their women. You know what I'm saying? Because their women is not gonna like the fact that I heard a lady in Chicago once. She was like, "My husband don't look at me like that." I said, "Well, you got to go home with them." They were watching the Bobby Rush show, and she was like, "My butt's not that big," you know. So she got a little upset about that. But to say that, I'm saying that to say is that's how a lot of women just cater to men, and for them to be dominated. And one other thing about the men that do perform, a lot of them don't require a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of them doing free shows. So those are some that have jobs or whatever, but I don't have a day job, you know, and several other the artists don't, but the ones that don't have a day job, that is my work. And I've done free shows, you know, with no problem. But for some reason, it's easy for them to get gigs if they're not going to charge a fee to get paid. You know, and they can have a name or have a lot of records out, and with the radio stations with playing our music, we get a lot of play, but it's community play, so you don't stand to make money from your music. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a give and take situation. But with the Queens, what we plan to do, we're getting ready to throw all female shows, and we're gonna rock it just like that. That's everybody that's in. If you in, you in. You we in. We gonna make it happen.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be an amazing show. Like I said, I've heard some of y'all's music, and I know that y'all have some tremendous talent. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to bringing it here to North Carolina at some point or another, because I know that there's definitely a rich vibe here in North Carolina. A lot of folks love the Southern Soul here in the Carolinas. So definitely looking forward to having y'all come and join here in the Triangle area. So definitely looking forward to that. It's interesting, Nellie, that you mentioned Bobby Rush and everything, because I remember one of the blues festivals that I was at, they actually got mad at him because of him having those kind of dancers that lady was talking about. And it was actually a young white woman, and she actually sent, I was actually belonging to and still am involved with the Cultural Arts Center that sponsored that blues festival. And I remember we got several emails because folks were like, thinking that it was a children's festival and he had those ladies doing the dance and all of that. But we were basically like, look, it wasn't like he was doing it at a off hour, because it was actually the time he came on the stage. It was like around 10:30 or 11 o'clock or something along those lines. So he was actually toward the back end and everything. So
and
we were
that's
actually
their
thinking
job.
Exactly, he was doing his job.
Yeah. It's that's their job. It's a job. It's not like they get naked. It's none of that. They're only dancing. They're not even on a pole. They're just, if they were on a pole, it might be a different subject. I probably would have joined Bobby on that note. But however, it's just their job, and people just tend to look at it the wrong way, and I think it's very disrespectful.
I agree with you on that. I did want to bring in Laquita. I think Laquita has been on the backstage, and I wanted to learn more about Laquita's background and Laquita's connection to Southern Soul and this part of this great sisterhood that is here as well. And of course, I do have that Crystal is back and everything, and I think but I'm waiting to hear if they can get their device connected, because right now I'm not seeing their face and everything, but hopefully Zelda will bounce back in and we'll see Zelda in a little bit as well. But Laquita, share a little bit about your background. These are some amazing ladies, and I'd love to learn more about your connection to these amazing ladies and what's going on with this whole Southern Soul movement and this Queens project, because y'all are all doing some great things. I'm a big fan of Southern Soul, but I'd love to hear more about you, as I don't know your music as well. Oh, you got to get off of mute.
Hello, I'm Lady Q, Queen of Soul. I've been in the music industry for, am I too noisy? For 2 years now, almost 3. And I'm really enjoying it. I mean, when Dee reached out to me, I was really excited about the project. I wasn't sure what the project was gonna be like, but once I was added to the group and I saw the lineup, I was like, oh yeah, this is something I want to be a part of. One, because I'm all about encouraging other queens. I've always been the type that like to encourage people. So it's been great for me as far as the shows and dealing with the guys. I mean, I've seen a lot of favoritism more toward the guys. The women are supporting the male. The males are dominant, and so I always observe and see that it's one female on the show, or we don't get to pay. And I feel like we're doing the work. We're hard at it, just like the guys. And most of us are writing our own music, so we're really taking a stand, in this industry. But I'm
Yeah,
excited about working with the Queens. We got so many big ideas. Dee is just, pushing us, and I'm looking forward to what's to come.
definitely sounds like a great project and everything. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to it. You said that you're one of the newer members. What got you involved in Southern Soul, and were you like a lot of these other ladies? Did you come out of the world of gospel, or what brought you into the whole Southern Soul family? Tell us a little bit more of your musical journey.
Well, I actually did come out of gospel, but in 1994, I was with a female group. Was called Ecstasy, and we won in several local areas, talent shows, and had opportunity to go to the Soul Train Music Awards. And so I pushed really hard working with those ladies. And then when we split up, I went back into the church. And so that's where I've basically been ever since until 2018.
Okay, that's when you got into more of the Southern soul. And what was it about Southern soul that was really enhancing you, and that you wanted to get more into like the blues side of things? Or what about blues
Well,
attracted you to this style of music?
well, the blues has. I mean, I grew up on the blues. I love it. My dad played the guitar, and I would make songs to his beats. And I was the only child out of three other siblings that took the interest in his music. And so my dad also had a blues group. Him and his brothers had formed a blues group. So that's all I heard every Saturday morning in my household. So I've always said if I ever could go, they always ask me if you could do it again once the group broke up. Uh, how would you go about doing it? I told them I would go in blues or gospel. That's the only way that I would go solo.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I'd like to hear from Dee Dee and the rest of them. And actually, I know Nellie's got kids as well. But a lot of times, what we're also hearing with a lot of folks is what's going on in the world is a lot with Black Lives Matter and a number of other things. And I know, Dee Dee, you mentioned that you've got a child. I know that Nellie's got children as well. So I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts about how it is touring, but also trying to respect your kids and the whole dynamics of the family and things of that nature, and also trying to make sure that they are staying safe, because this is a rough world that we're living in for our Black males and everything. So I'd love to hear y'all's perceptions around that. So I'll start with you first, Dee Dee, because you did mention that you've got a child, and I know.
Yes, yes, I do. He's 15, and my son is lucky and blessed to be my child, because I give him all the game that I was given on the streets. So I make sure he's game tight. I have him in one of the best schools because I want him to be educated. I also want him to have a diverse community as well. But I make him responsible. And when I see stuff on television that really bothers me, especially with the Black Lives Movement, I come to him and I say, hey, I need you to write an essay on what you just saw, because I want to know your feelings. So he'll sit down and write me a paper on everything he saw. And sometimes he tries to, make it all pretty. And I said, no, go back and do it again. I want to know how you felt. So he'll write me a paper that way, because 15 is hard sometimes to really know how they feel on the inside. Mm-hmm. So with all the rioting and, people being out of school to go march and stuff, I said, well, if we're going to go march, we're going to go march together. And I tell them, you need to understand the people in the 60s, when your grandma and them was in Mississippi and Louisiana, I said, they did sit outs and they could have lost their lives. These riots that you see right now are fun. I said, so if you want to go march, I'll go march with you, because ain't nobody going to kill my son. And I want you to know the seriousness about marching and what you're marching for. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Kids, they don't want to, they want to have the fun. So with that being said, he didn't want to go march, of course. Okay. He didn't want to, there's too much walking. Okay. Number one. Okay. He'd rather look at it on TV. So I told him, as long as, he's safe. I don't like, with my son, I know how it is. I don't like with two schools intertwined. If you got friends at another school and y'all want to hook up, it's going to be a problem. No. If you want to go to the movies, I'll sit in the parking lot. I ain't going to come in, because ain't nobody going to just kill my son. Two schools really don't mesh like that. And I have to let him know, because they think that because all these schools are all around, they get together. No, schools really don't mesh like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm very protective of my son. I only can do one because it's too much work. I'm very protective. I make sure he doesn't have to want anything. I want him to know how to change his tire. I want him to know how to cut the grass. So I'm trying to train him the same way I was trained, not like grandparents train you, where they give you everything. So I hope I said what I was going to say.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I'd love to hear Jesi's thoughts as well. And I'm not sure if Jesi's got kids or not, but I'd love to hear Jesi and Tiffany's thoughts. And just to let you know, Dee Dee, I actually just had gone to the store earlier today. I did not know this gentleman, and I actually mentioned on one of my other podcasts, I didn't know him from Adam, and I know that that's that old saying. He actually just lost his 15-year-old son earlier yesterday in a drive-by shooting. So literally, he told me that, and he was working on 2 jobs. So we actually went to a dollar store. He had just left the grocery store to the dollar store, and just yesterday he lost his son. So I definitely can have deep passion for folks that are going through these kind of hard times and everything. And like I said, I didn't know him from Adam, but he did put out to his heart what was going on in his life, and I shared with him my own compassion with what he was going through. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, Jesi, as to some of the things that are going on in our community and you as well, Tiffany.
Yes, I do have one daughter. I don't have any boys. I have 4 grandchildren, and 3 of them are boys. The older one is 16 years old, and he doesn't even like to go out. Because of everything that's going on. He had an assignment where it was doing with the guitar, and he had to go up to school and get his guitar, and he wouldn't go. So his father had to end up going up there and getting his guitar for him. And to me, it's really sad because the young people can't go out, especially young Black men, and they're afraid to catch the bus, to even take an Uber. And where his school was located at, it's in Chicago, and it's around Ashland and 21st Street, which is kind of like a Hispanic area, and it's very rough over there. So I can understand him not wanting to go in that area. But with that said, with everything going on out here, it is really, truly a shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Tiffany, I'd love to hear your thoughts on kind of what's going on with our youth and everything. And if you've got any kids, if you want to share that background and everything, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Well, yes, I have 2 children, but they're babies. So I have a 6-year-old daughter and I have an 8-year-old son. And I definitely try to be very open-minded with them. We do everything together. So, of course, my kids do not go. They go to my sister's house, and that's it. As far as, me singing, if it's not their dad or my sister, it's not going to work. So it takes my family, we work together to make sure that this is something that I can definitely do to make sure that my kids are good. I'm very overprotective of my children. I do have a boy, but I have, 2 brothers that are out here. So every time I hear something, whether it's smash on the news, I'm immediately calling, the men in my family. Are you good? Are you okay? And so, and my family this year has, suffered a tremendous loss. So I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I hear the news, I'm making a phone call. Or every time, I hear something, I'm immediately, because it's a lot. It's overwhelming. My kids don't go outside. And I bet they think that my son was like, Mommy, you are so cruel. Because I'm like, lock that door. Don't go here. Get over here, because, you just never know. And so I'm very overprotective, but I try to explain to them what's going on. And they're babies. So they, my kids don't really understand the privilege that we had growing up. So they drive me up the wall, but they're at home, they're safe, they're with me. And so, it's all good, but as a whole, it's a lot and it's overwhelming. And it's very scary to know what our future is going to be like, with our children. And, we're mothers. So, I mean, it's in us to be nurturing and loving and protecting. And so it's just something that, we got to come together and just kind of pray and and protect and cover.
Definitely got to do that. So. Karen, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. And like I said, I can't remember whether you have kids or not, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's going on with our youth and everything of that nature. And so I'd love to hear what you've got to say as well.
Well, it's very important to like everyone's been saying, to train our youth, to teach our youth. Yeah, I do have one biological daughter, and I also have two other children. We don't call them stepchildren because if we feed them and we take care of them, then there's no step. So my husband and I have 3 children altogether, 2 girls and a boy, and a son. Our son is 30 years old, but it's scary. It's really, really scary to think when he go out the door that we have to really, really, really stay in prayer, stay prayerful, and really just drop knowledge to him as to knowing that nothing is out there that's that important to get killed over. Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. Now, my biological daughter is she's 44 years old and grown and married, and I also have a grandson by her. We've got like 9 grandchildren altogether. So it's a scary world. It really is. So the best thing what we do as parents is we make sure that we gather all the children together. At some point in time, we get everybody together, and when everybody gets together, we sit down and we have family time. We have family talks. We, try to make them understand that, listen, respect goes a long way. I know things have changed, and today's world is a whole lot different from when we came up, but respect is still here, and it's going to stay here when it comes to this family. You have to respect people. In order to get respect, you got to give it. So, and we try to teach that as much as possible to all of our children, our grandchildren, that, and your name is better than, my father told me once that your name is better than rubies. You always keep a good name. Don't go out there, messing up your name and doing all sorts of stuff to make people say, or my mom would say, make people hate to see you coming, so, so we just try to teach them all of the grandchildren and all the children, that to respect people. And if anything happens beyond your respect, then leave that to us. We got that. We got the rest of that. Don't worry about it. Because if you're respecting and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and then they still don't want to, acknowledge your respect, then leave it to mom and dad. We got the rest of it. So,
no, that makes a lot of sense. And I definitely agree with
yeah.
you on that. Nellie, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well as Lady Q. So I'd love to hear what Lady Q's got to say. But I guess I'll go to you first, Nellie, and then come to Lady Q.
Well, I am the mother of 3 boys. And with me being in the industry, it was a struggle. But they also knew that I will fight them, so they did things to stay intact. It's since they've been grown that I learned about the things that they were doing that nobody could have told me that they were, but they knew to keep it away from me. But even with them growing up, with me performing every night, I was a single mother, and every night I'm doing $50 a night for 7 days a week. So I'm never home. I'm calling them on the phone. Oh, we're in the house, Mom. And I learned since they've been older that as soon as I talk to them, they hit the streets. They were gone. But, they knew to do that because like I said, I beat them down. They knew I would beat them down. So my 2 oldest boys, they turned out really great. They're married with children. And I actually had a son 15 years after my baby was born. So he was born out at 30 when I was 35. So now he's like 24. And for a minute, he was like, he's a millennia. So for a minute, he was like getting into trouble and stuff. And I thought, well, since I was in a better position, I get him a car and get him to school and stuff. And he started going past the school. So he was hanging out with the wrong people. So I kept telling him about hanging out with this one boy. And he was like, oh, Mom, you always think this, you think that. How about he was at the boy's house one morning. I went to get my nails done. And I just felt something that day. But I was praying and I'd asked the Lord. I said, Lord, I'm getting in your way. I said, I asked you to handle him, to take care of him, and I'm getting in your way. I walked away from it. He's at the boy's house. They're standing on the porch, him and the 2 guys. All you hear is gunshots. Pow, 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 pow. The 2 guys run. He lays down on the porch where bullets flying across his face like this. He laying on his back. Bullets flying across his face. He got a chance to kick the door and get into the people's house. And as soon as he got in, the bullet came through the door and it barely scraped his finger. So I'm saying that to say, now he stays in the house. He don't hang out with the guys. And that was what it took. And I asked the Lord to just not let it be detrimental to him. And he did that. But it's kind of tough. It's a lot easier with boys, I believe, than it is with girls, because I think that's why God didn't give me a girl, because my career probably would have ended when I had her, So, but yeah, it's a tough world for them. But like I said, I stayed with them. I played football with them. I dropped them off at the movies. I had to do all of that. I ran girls up out of my house on a regular. And they were like, your mama mean. I wanted that. Good. Let me be mean because I beat you down too. And I'll go and tell your mama I beat you down. But thank God they all turned out. This 24-year-old gonna be okay too. He's into music. He writes some really nice beats, and he haven't finished mine yet for the blues song I want, but he's still at it and he's still living. And I thank God for all three of them.
That's great. Lady Q, what's your take on what's going on with our young folks and everything? And if you got any kids or anything, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's going on with the young people as well.
Unmute yourself, Lady Q. Laquita, you see everybody looking at you? Unmute yourself.
There she goes.
Unmute. It's not unmuted.
Nope, it's on her end.
Muted.
Yeah, she's still muted. It's on her end. But I'll wait to see what she's got to say later on and everything. But definitely, I'm going to put on some of y'all's music from some of y'all's songs and everything. And I think I'll start off with Karen. And it's actually one of my favorite songs and everything. So, Karen, yes. I want to know what you had on your mind when you did that song and called You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man. Because, like I said, that's one of my favorite songs. So I definitely wanted to know a little bit about that song and what was going on in your life at that particular time. So, like I said, that's the one I'm going to put on of yours because that's one that I do play sometimes, everything, because it's definitely a one of those humorous songs, but it's also a very powerful song. So definitely I'd love to hear your thoughts on what was going on with You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man.
Well, actually, I'm shocked to hear that. I tell the ladies all the time, I'm not a writer. I always say, listen, queens, I don't do a lot of writing. And they're like, you can write. I'm like, no, I really don't write. I said, the only song that I've written is You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man. And it's doing well on the radio. And I was really shocked at that because I'm so not a writer. I didn't really have a whole lot of anything in mind. Of course, you go through things in your relationship and then you stop and say, okay, you're singing all this stuff to everybody else. What about you? What about yourself? What are you going to say to yourself? So, so it just happened to be, we were out to dinner one day and this little young girl comes by and, she, reaching out and winking at my husband and doing all types of things. So the song just came to mind. This little girl really don't know what she in for. She don't really know what's up. So I'm like, I need to ask this little girl: can she cook? Can she make gravy? What can she do what can she bring to the table besides twerking? You got to do something other than twerk, little lady, in order to get my man. So it just all came together, And I wrote the song.
Well, that's a great song. I definitely enjoy it. So like I said, I'm going to bring that up right now and let folks check out a little bit of You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man.
All right.
You ain't woman enough to take my man. You get tired You ain't woman enough to take my man. 'Cause you ain't old enough to understand. Listen here, little girl, tell me what you got to bring to the table other than being a thought. You can twerk and jerk, honey, all night long. But if you can't make crazy, you might as well leave him alone. Now he may look just for a little while, but that won't keep his attention, 'cause you get buck wild. See, you gotta have class and be a woman too. You gotta have knowledge, you sure gotta know what to do, yeah. So you ain't woman enough, girl, to take my man, take my man. You can try if you want to try, girl, take him if you can. You ain't woman enough, oh no, take my man. You can't take my man. You ain't old enough, you ain't old enough. You may be a brick house with a whole lot of curves, but I'm not worried. You ain't wrecking my nerves. I know you broke up home, honey, in your time. But the devil is a lie, girl. You ain't breaking up mine. You gotta have his back and be his ride or die. And when he brings that money home, you make it multiply. See, some of you girls may be young and fit, but when it comes to a real man, all you wanna do is get lit. Yeah, so you ain't woman enough. No, take my man. Can't take my man. You can try if you want. Try, girl. Take him if you can. You ain't woman enough. Can't do it. Take my man. No, you ain't old enough. You ain't old enough. Let me tell you one thing. You young girls ain't got nothing on me, no. There's no competition, cause you're not in my league, no. And you young girls don't know nothing about love, no. You think it's in a strip club, but that is the back room. Girl, it ain't all about you, no. You ain't woman enough, hey. Take my man. Take my man. You can try if you won't try, girl. Take him if you can. You ain't woman, just can't do it. Take my man. Take my man. You ain't old enough. No, no. Understand. Let me say it again. You young girls ain't got nothing on me, no. There's no competition, cause you're not in my league, no. And you young girls don't know nothing about love, no. You think it's in the strip club, that is in the back room. Girl, it ain't all about you. So you ain't woman enough, no. Take my man. You can't take my man. You can try if you want. Try, girl. Take him if you can. You ain't woman, you just can't do it. Take my man. No, no. Listen, girls, in the words of my brother, Big Allen, you can leave me rocking. You can have my chair. There's ain't too many women that can do what I do out there.
Hey.
All right, then. That was Karen's song and everything, and definitely rocking some great tunes on that. So, and I'll bring up some of y'all's other music as well. And by the way, Zelda's been trying to join us, but she doesn't seem to be having that much luck with her telephone or computer or whatever she was using and everything. Looks like she was trying it from her iPhone, and I do know that sometimes will work, but it doesn't always work. But Laquita, we were earlier, Lady Q, earlier talking about definitely the impact of what's going on in the world with our youth, particularly our Black male youth. And I was waiting to hear your comments and your thoughts, and then we didn't quite get them and everything. So I'd love to hear that. And then, Dee, if you can tell us a little bit about Zelda, just so that folks can learn about Zelda, even though she wasn't able to join us, and about some of the other ladies that are involved as well. So definitely, I would love to hear from y'all about Zelda, because she did say that she was watching, and I do know that iPhones can be a little bit more trickier than some of the other devices. But definitely, Lady Q, share with us your thoughts as to what's going on with our Black males in the youth, particularly our young folks.
Okay, well, I have a total of 5 kids, all grown. Two sons. One is 32, and one is 28. And I had my oldest son at 15. So, I mean, actually, to be a single mom raising my kids until I was 32, they actually turned out very, very well. You know, I haven't had any trouble with them. Very respectable young men, very manageable, you know, and I have three boys, 3 grandbaby, 3 boys, and 3 granddaughters. So I have a total of 6 grandkids, and they know everything that's going on with everything, but they're not like party goers. You know, back in the day, they did do a lot of partying, but they're not party goers now. I think my daughter probably was the worst one. She should have really been my boy, because she has been the one that then kept me on my toes. But as far as everything that's going on in this world now, they've taken to it, and I teach them, and they teach their kids about being respectable young men. But as far as the music industry go with my kids, their thoughts about me stepping out there and singing, I put down everything that I had going because I had kids to raise my kids, and I picked it back up once, they were grown. So I sit all of them down, and I told them that it was time for mom to go out and reach back at some of those things that I had going. I only had 3 things I wanted to do. And that was 1, I wanted to be a fashion model. 2, I wanted to sing like Tina Turner. And 3, I wanted to do hair. So I actually got a chance to do the hair. And then I realized that wasn't something I wanted to do. So then I started, I actually got a chance to do the modeling. So I modeled up until I started getting busy in this music game, and I kind of pushed back from that. But I'm living my dream. So my kids, they have adapted to it very well. Well, when I first came out and my first single off the water was Lumberjack, they hated it. As young boys, they thought that, why would my mom sing a song like this? And I told them, I said, okay, I want you to listen to this scenario. I said, okay, take your mom out the equation. Think about if you were with your friends and y'all were all hanging out and y'all were having a barbecue, and the song came on and you enjoyed the song, but you didn't know who the artist was. You would be jamming to that song because you don't know the artist. The thing is, what you can't get out of your mind is, this is my mom singing. And so I have to tell them, this is only music. So don't judge me by the music that I'm singing. It's only music, So they kind of adapted to it. And once the song went on and it started making the charts and everything, they started loving the song. So now I hear them playing the song. But they used to always say, Mama, please tell me you're going to make more music. Please tell me you're going to make more music. Please don't be stuck on that one song. So they're excited now. I got a whole album out, so they enjoy all of it now. But I still think Lumberjack actually is their favorite song.
Yep, it probably is one of their favorite songs, and I can definitely see that and everything. One of the things that I've always been amazed by is that, and it's one of the things, the reason I love blues music and Southern soul and everything, is that it takes so much about what's going on in the world, whether that's like we were talking about with the youth, whether that's what's going on in race relations. And I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on Kamala as the first vice president in a little bit and everything, or even sometimes relationships that are outside of the norm. Like, I know I've had a cousin of mine that actually married into a family. So even though he had a child of his own, he actually married into a family where he got not just the step kids, but he also got the step grandkids. So he actually married into that kind of family and everything. And a lot of times, because of the way our society is, we're seeing more of those kind of blended families. So I was just wondering if y'all could talk about the importance of music, even to have that conversation around blended families of all kinds of unique types and everything. So I guess I'll turn to you, Tiffany, and then hear your thoughts on these, kind of like the way that music is about a lot of different things, including blended families. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on the way that Southern Soul actually addresses a lot of those kind of social issues.
Can I ask a question before Tiffany starts? Is there any way that we can be recorded on Facebook or no?
Yes, it's actually, the whole thing is being recorded, and I will send y'all the whole recording when we're done, because I got the whole recording, and I will definitely send you the whole recording of what we've done.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, Tiffany.
That's okay. Well, the great thing about music right now is because you can definitely express yourself. So however you feel, I think we're living in the era of however you feel, you can really express it, and people can agree with it or not, but this is them. And so I think right now in the society we're in, we have the liberty to be able to really express ourselves. Now that's a great thing and that's a bad thing, because you also have to be ready for the backlash behind whatever it is that you're saying. So I think maybe like being with a blended family, or you might not really agree, because the way we were raised, it was one way. There was no option. You can do whatever you want to do when you leave outside my house, but even outside my house, you need to do that behind closed doors. As far as being open and wanting everyone to respect whatever it is that you feel, the thing about it is you have to be ready for the backlash. And so I think it is kind of a struggle because you love, your blended family, you love and respect what it is that they decide to do, but you also want to be kind of protective of them and what the response they're gonna receive once they express themselves in whatever way that is not, going according to what we believe or what we personally think.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. What about yourself, Jess? I'd love to hear your thoughts on those folks that are kind of finding themselves that not have just stepchildren, but step grandchildren, and in some cases, maybe even step great grandchildren.
Well, I never really had a problem when it came down to music with my daughter and my grandkids. I was more so concerned about my mother, hearing some of the type of music that I was singing, and she showed up at one of my shows, and I was like, oh, I can't go out on stage. I can't sing this. My mother's out there. My mother's out there. So my mom, she came back, and she said, what's going on? I said, Mom, I don't think I can do this because you're out here, and I'm singing about sex and all that other stuff, And she told me, she said, do your thing. She said, you get out on the stage and you do your thing. You don't have a problem with me. She said, it's only music, and I know that. So that, from that point, I was not afraid to step out on the stage, and I never had any problem with my daughter. She's always liked my music, and my grandkids, they just like the fact that they see their mom on the album. Their brother on an album, actually. They call me mom. They don't call me grandma, they call me mom.
Wow. What about you, Dee? What is your reaction with you? Because like I said, you said that you're I think you said you're a single mom and everything with the 15-year-old, but you're also out there in that whole world and everything. So what do you think when you find folks that are approaching you and maybe they're going to have that stepson? I think you said you got a son, so they have that stepson involved and whatever other relationships that they might want to add to whatever's going on in your life. Yep, Dee.
Can you say that again?
No, I'm just saying the whole concept of like these step families that are coming out and everything. And a lot of times because of the way that the music industry is, we're finding folks that are having stepfathers, grandkids and everything of that nature. So how do you deal with that even in talking to your family and everything?
Oh, well, I had a stepfather. So my husband, he in it to win it because it ain't going to be no steps raising my kid. Personally, he until my son leave his house, he in it to win it. Okay, ain't not gonna be no steps, no step man, no stepbody telling my son unless it's positive stuff. Now I ain't talking about role models. I'm not gonna have. I just never. I have steps, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with steps because my husband has a daughter, but I never tried to step into the scene as being her second mom. Because I said, well, when she turns 13, 14, she ain't gonna like me no more anyway. She's gonna be like, why my daddy ain't with my mama? So I never pushed the issue with that, If she needs something, I got her. I told my husband I don't show up at the PTA meetings. It ain't gonna be three of us at the PTA meeting. You're gonna go to the PTA meeting with your child's mother. Either I'm gonna trust you or I'm not gonna trust you. It ain't gonna be two of us at the Christmas program. He didn't really understand it, but I understood it. I was not gonna be sitting there trying to outdress her, looking at her sideways. No. So it ain't gonna be no extra dad coming to no football games with me and my son, and if my husband were supposed to may separate. If we did, you never know. But I was just saying, that's just the way it is for me. I never believed in steps. I know we have them, but like Karen said earlier, that her step is not a step because she cares for them. Okay, and I literally care for my husband's other daughter, but I'm never going to overstep the boundaries and try to be a mom because I'm not the mom. I ain't the mom. I'm not the mom. So, and it ain't gonna be no other dad. There's only one dad. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And definitely, Dee Dee, if you could tell us a little bit about the other folks. Like I said, I know Zelda was in the trying to get on and was not having any luck with her iPhone and everything. But if you could tell us about the other folks that have not been able to join us on this conversation, if we can just learn a little bit more about their background and who they are that are part of the show and everything. Because she's definitely watching, because I just got a chat from her. So she's definitely paying attention to what we're saying. But if you can share just a little bit about the rest of the ladies that are included that are not on the screen with us.
Well, I met Zelda on the live. She is the first cousin of Diana Ross. And she's been putting out good music. You know, she's been putting out good music, and I liked her. When Zelda likes what you're doing, she tags everybody from Melba Moore all the way down to Tito Jackson. She tags everybody. She got everybody's line, and that's a person that doesn't mind sharing what they have. Some people have a problem with sharing, and if they have something, they're going to keep it for themselves, only when they're ready. But I don't know if she's new to singing, but I gravitated to her personality and the fact that she didn't want to use Diana Ross as being her first cousin, you know. And I said, girl, if that was me, I'd be like, Diana Ross's first cousin, Dee Simon. I said, girl, we use that so much, but she never wanted to use that. So she's been with the project with us, and you know, we love Zelda, so she's a part of us. And Nellie spends more time with her though.
Nellie, you want to share a little bit about Zelda as well, since you spend more time with her, as your thoughts about her and who she is and everything?
Yeah, she's crazy. No, I'm just kidding. She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun. And Dee Dee is saying that because we both live in Atlanta. And I've had the pleasure of listening to her, you know, on a lot of occasions. Zelda has a way of, her music is really her, you know, it's just so her. It's very intimate, and she has that little sultry voice, you know, whereas if you get some gutsy singers that's singing gutsy, then she'll still have that little softness, that little bird thing going on, and it fits her personality and it fits who she actually is. But she's a good person. She's good for the project. The thing is, with the project, everyone is different. You know, there's no duplications, period. And there are no imitations. Everybody's just real. They're doing their own thing. Oh my God, if you heard the album, it's just so awesome. And I listened to Karen say, oh, well, I don't really like my song. Karen is killing it. The song is so awesome, and everybody's doing such an awesome job. And I'm so proud of Dee Dee for putting it together, because like I said, even nobody ever thought about doing a Christmas album with females, you know, but now everybody is doing some of everything with females now. They got everybody got their own little groups. They got their own little colors, their little teeth, their hearts, their feet, and all that stuff, you know. So we made an impact, obviously, because everybody now want to start this empowerment group, which is a great thing. And I must say that while I'm on air. I'm just kidding. It's really a great thing.
It is. It
but
really is.
because we are showing them that women can actually pull together and be somebody. I know we started with Zelda, but I'm sorry, you know, I'll be talking all over the place.
That's
but
right.
Like I said, it's just a great thing, and it's good to see them coming behind us and empowering other women, which as all of those other women still had an opportunity to be a part of us at some point. But back to Zelda. She's great. She's great for the project, and we're moving on.
That's right.
Definitely. And
we have Miss Pat, who's not here today as well. We always hear in Southern Soul, we always hear them say this person is the Elvis or whoever, the Smokey Robinson of Southern Soul, or this or that and that. And then when you hear them, they're nothing like that. They ain't nothing like that. But I can guarantee you this, when I tell you this, I'm so serious. This young lady, Marc, is the Southern Soul version. She is Erykah Badu of Southern Soul. When I tell you that, she sounds just like her. and and I'm not saying that lightly. She has a lot of soul. She can stand on her own on stage, and we wanted the people in this group to be able to stand on their own on stage, as well as if they needed something from us, some support, we're there for them. So Miss Pat to me was the Erykah Badu of Southern Soul. Only thing she don't have is the head wrap and the unk, but she definitely got the vocals, and she's passionate. She produces a lot of her stuff, and she works hard. She's a hard worker. I mean, outside of the music. So that's why we thought that she would be a good fit. And it's different. And she sounds so different from everybody else. Everybody sounds so different.
Yeah.
Who else?
Well, and it sounds like everybody's got a unique sound and everything of that nature. Now, part of the album is definitely a Christmas album. So I was just wondering, of the six of y'all, what is your favorite Christmas songs? Because we are, this is November 30th, December is tomorrow. And of course, everybody hopefully will be in at least somewhat of a Christmas spirit, even though we are in the middle of the pandemic, which is definitely impacting folks' holiday modes and everything and moods and everything. But definitely, Dee, what is your favorite Christmas song? And then I'd love to hear from Jess and everybody else what their favorite Christmas songs are.
Ooh.
Christmas,
that's
you say Christmas. Aretha Franklin.
What was it, Dee?
Christmas just ain't Christmas without the one you love, Aretha Franklin.
Okay. And what about you, Jess?
I like Luther Vandross, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic one. And you, Karen?
I have fallen in love with the Queen's Christmas CD. Every song except mine.
I concur. I say the same thing, no doubt. Oh my God. And on that album, you can't just pick one. They all are awesome.
Sounds like it. What about you, Lady Q? What's your favorite Christmas song? And it can be from the album or it can be one of the others. Like I said, Dee has come up with some, as did Jess. So what's your favorite Christmas song?
I thought we were. I didn't think we were talking about the album.
Yeah, I thought he said the album.
Mine is This Christmas. Other than the album.
Other than the album. Well, I'm a little bit biased to this Christmas. I'm a little bit biased to this Christmas because actually a friend of mine produced that TV show or the movie that came out several years back. So Ronnie Warner is a good friend of mine, and he did that movie This Christmas way back a few years back.
Loretta Devine?
That's the one.
Yes. Yeah, Chris Brown. That was awesome.
Yeah, if you remember the gentleman that has the dreadlocks, that's my good friend Ronnie Warner, who's from North Carolina, and he's one of the producers of that movie. So he was one of the bad guys.
I love that movie.
And what about you,
So maybe
Crystal?
you should get him to do one called This Christmas CD.
I think I might have to do that, or do this Christmas CD, get him to do a whole thing revolving around y'all and do a whole nother movie because he's always looking for a new project. So we might have to make that happen for sure. Crystal, what's a favorite Christmas song of yours?
Well, I have to say, and all the queens know that I have been raving about this project because I absolutely love Christmas music. Now, I know you said not this project, but I got to throw it out there. This is the best Christmas project you will ever hear. Make sure you get a copy of this project. But a song of mine that's my favorite outside of the Queens, it would have to be Christmas Tears by Freddie King.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sing the blues, baby.
I hear sleigh bells ringing.
Come on.
But I haven't heard a word from you this year.
Come on, Crystal.
I hear sleigh bells ringing.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't heard a word from you this year. Okay, we'll do it.
Well, since we're going there, and like I said, I am going to bring up, and I did have a question about Dee Simon's "If I Leave You" song, and I will bring that up and everything.
Simon.
But Dee Simon, I said it wrong. Yes. Dee Simon, but "If I Leave You" and everything. But and I do have a question about that. But we're going to have y'all talk a little bit about y'all's own songs, and so. Since I got you online and everything, I think I need to hear a little bit of the Christmas song. So, Dee, can I hear a little riff of your Christmas songs? Nellie knows I'll put people on the spot because I did it to her last time she was on. So, can I hear a little bit of your Christmas riff?
Christmas on the album?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Sing it.
Come on.
Merry Christmas, baby. I've been waiting for you all night long. You're
Yes.
looking kind of special tonight. And I made that favorite meal you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seems like you got a lot on your mind right lately. I remember the Christmas parties you used to take me.
Oh,
Well, I've been thinking about you too. And the perfume that you wear, she must be thinking of you too. Hey, you're wondering what the gift is under the tree. When you get home, you open it. You never expect to see
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Here's our
Here's
gift
my
for
gift for
and your
Hey,
TV and the keys to your car.
Merry
Christmas, baby.
Christmas.
Here's our
Here's our
gift
gift
and your
for
TV and the house is not
it's mine.
cold.
All right.
Bravo.
That was just, but you know I'm not going to put on the spot, so it's just your turn to hear a little bit of her Christmas song. So it's your turn, Jess.
Come on, Jess.
The best gift at Christmas time. It's so easy, you can see. It's not wrapped in paper or even under the Christmas tree. Yeah, 'cause all I want for Christmas is you, my love. All I want for Christmas is you, Santa baby.
All right.
Thank you.
Karen, you said you don't like your song, but I'm not letting you off the hook, so it's your turn now.
I love her
I
song.
saw you at the mall the other day, yeah. Pretending you were giving gifts away. Now everybody knows Mrs. Claus don't trip. But I saw a girl with her arms around your hips. Now I know giving gifts is not a crime, no. But you were giving away what was mine. I can't believe what I saw with my own two eyes. It shocked me more than when I saw Rudolph fly. I ain't been this mad since Christmas was stole from me. Ooh, that Mr. Claus is cheating on me.
Cheating.
All right, then. And Lady Q, you don't get off just because you're in a car. So I need to hear from you as well.
It's Christmas time, baby. And where could you be? It's the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature is stirring, not even Santa Claus. It's the holidays, baby, and you're not here with me. Looking at all these fancy lights shining on the Christmas tree. The stockings are by the fireplace, and the kids are fast asleep. I'm just waiting to hear the reindeer bell as he delivers Santa Claus to me. It's Christmas time, baby. And where could you be? Love is in the air and the mood is right. I just need you here with me. That's it.
Melly, you brought this group together for me, so I need to hear your version of your Christmas song.
Oh, let's do it. Don't
Yeah, that's the
worry
jam.
about the weather. It's nice and cozy in here. I always like to celebrate this time of the year. I'm yours and you're mine. Baby, it's Christmas time. Come and kiss me, baby, under the mistletoe. Look out the window, darling. It's beginning to snow. I'm yours and you're mine. Baby, it's Christmas time. Oh, baby, everybody's full of cheer. Oh, baby, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm yours and you're mine. Baby, it's Christmas time. Even though it's snowing, we got more shopping to do. 'Cause if there's something else I wanna get for you, I'm yours and you're mine. Baby, it's Christmas time. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one. Now, along those same lines, but not so much the singing, by the way, that was some amazing singing. I'm over here just waiting to get that album now, and I know I need to get a copy big time.
Yes, you gotta meet me at the mistletoe. Hold on, everybody. Come on, Crystal.
Let me hear it.
I've been waiting on this day for this day to rise. 'Cause it ain't nothing like Christmas. Nothing like Christmas time. Everyone's happy and filled with cheer. Children are playing with toys, smiling from ear to ear. But it don't feel much like Christmas without you here. Boom, 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 boom. Sleigh bells keep ringing everywhere. The smell of holiday in the air. Stockings and presents under the tree. It won't be perfect till you're here with me. Under the mistletoe. Ooh, so I can kiss you, baby. Ooh, so I can mistletoe. Y'all start making me laugh.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, that was great. I definitely love that and everything. Some great songs, and I know that there's some amazing ones. Now, folks are watching, and we have a global audience, and they wanted to get a copy of the CD. Where would they get a copy from? How would they get a copy of this Queen's Christmas CD if they want to have this music on? Because we know that a lot of folks are in this age of COVID, and they need some positive images. And that's the other question. After you tell me that, Dee Dee, where we can find the CD, I'd love to hear from all of you ladies some of your best Christmas memories. So I'll start with Jess and everything and hear a Christmas memory, and you can also share yours when you're telling us about where we can get this CD. But I'd love to hear from y'all some of your best Christmas memories that you can remember and reflect on.
Dee Dee,
Dee Dee, it's on
we
you
want to
first.
know about the where you get the CDs.
Yes.
Okay. It's available on all digital platforms. It is available if you want the hard copies. Now, the hard copies are limited edition. They are so limited, and the edition is something you'll never see before. It's hard copy, jewel case. You open it up, it's 12 pages like the old school CD. We didn't keep it out for y'all.
I'm gonna get it right quick.
It is so gorgeous. Those you just have to inbox us. You can buy the hard copies on Payhip, PAYHIP.com. Queens with the S Project 10, and that's where you could purchase the hard copy if you would like a hard copy. It's beautiful.
Sounds great. And I think Nellie was going to get a hard copy and everything, but I had asked both you and Jess some of your early Christmas memories. So if you got like a Christmas memory of your past that you can reflect on. So Dee, I'll start with you first. So what's a Christmas memory that really touches your heart?
Oh my goodness, I don't have one Christmas memory. All
There's
of my
probably
Christmases have always been good. I mean, in this family, they worked hard to get us pretty much what we wanted. We think what we think. So I've never had a bad Christmas. I've never had a bad Christmas. I mean, even in relationships, I never had a bad Christmas. Okay, just gonna add that, for the future. Just put that out there for the future. Yeah.
Sounds good. What about you, Jess? Is there a great Christmas memory that you remember or that you can reflect on that really touched your heart?
I have one that really touched my heart. It was when my first grandson was born, and his first Christmas. He was so excited, and he was just running around all over the place. He didn't know which toy to play with first. So that's one of my greatest memories. As a child, I've always been sick at Christmas time, so I never played with my toys or anything like that. I was always sickly. And as I got older with the relationships and stuff, they always went south at Christmas time. So my fun memories is with my oldest grandson.
Well, that's true. And you're right about that because I can tell you that I do remember that some of the worst breakups were around Christmas because folks do like to end those relationships right around Christmas because they don't want to buy those gifts. So they try to avoid the whole gift thing. So they're like, oh, don't want a gift. So I'm out. So, Karen, what about yourself? Any great Christmas memories?
Well, actually, I'm not a big Christmas person. That's another thing I shared with the ladies too. That with the queens, that I'm not a big Christmas person. But I do have a lot of fun memories with my family. I come from a long line of singers. Everybody in my family can sing, and I come from a big family, and there's like 10 of us still left. There was 11. There's 9 of us still left. There was 11 of us, and we all could sing. But we used to go to my aunt's house. I'm from Arkansas, and we would go to my aunt's house in Arkansas, and everybody would, after we finished eating, my mom would always say, "Come on, girls. Y'all know y'all not gonna get away without singing my favorite song." And I'm like, "Oh man, Mom, we too full." She's like, "Look, I don't want to hear that. I ain't trying to hear that. Y'all know when we come up here, what you got to do. Get on up there and sing." And so me and my sister and my niece had a gospel group at the time. And she would always want to hear this song that we would sing called "Lord Have Mercy." And we would have to sing that song every year for Christmas. And those are just my fun times with spending Christmas with my family.
Oh yeah, Christmas with family is a great thing. What about you, Lady Q? As you're still driving around in that car and everything, but what were some great Christmas memories that you had?
Well, I've had a lot of great Christmas memories, but the one that sticks out to me the most is growing up around my grandmother when she was living. She had 12 kids, and because she was so poor that she made shoe boxes, she would decorate shoe boxes and fill them with all type of goodies for each one of her children and lay them out. And pretend like Santa had left them goodies. And so I started the same tradition in my household with my kids. And for a long time, I would decorate shoe boxes for each one of the kids, putting their names on them and filling them with apples and oranges and nuts and all types of goodies. And then as they got older, I developed my own tradition of doing the stockings, and I would have each child decorate their stockings, and while they dry, we would hang them up, and then I would get them together, and we would put up the Christmas tree, and I would play Christmas music, and we make Christmas cookies. I completely love Christmas time, so that is my memory.
Yeah, Christmas is a great time and everything. We actually made a decision not to do one of our usual Christmas traditions because usually around right after Thanksgiving, we'll put up a Christmas tree at my mom's house and we'll get it decorated with all the ornaments and all of that. But my younger brother already has had an affinity for big dogs and they have talked my mom into getting a big dog as well. So we decided the big dog and the Christmas tree might not be the best of friends at this particular moment. So we'll put up the Christmas decorations after the dog is a little bit more trained. Because right now we don't want the tree tumbling down and all of that. So we're trying to figure out how the dog can cope with the big Christmas tree because it's a grandparent niece.
Absolutely.
And if y'all know about grandparent nieces, it's already like about 65 pounds or something like that. And I think it's going to get to be like 130. So it's going to be a very big,
Wow,
furry dog.
wow.
Crystal, what are some of your memories?
Christmas was always a big thing in my household. My mom decorated for every holiday, but for Christmas, we always went out. We have a 12-foot Christmas tree, and I never understood until I got older why we would always cook all day Christmas Eve up until Christmas morning. But it was because she really couldn't get off of work to prepare early. So most of my Christmases were spent cooking with my mom all night, getting up, opening presents top of the morning. We would deliver food to both of my grandparents, and then we would go to with the community choir in the neighborhood. We would go to the jailhouse and to the nursing home and carol to the residents and inmates there and deliver things to them to brighten up their spirit. So every year Christmas, I was always taught that it's about giving and not receiving. So every Christmas that we're able to do something for someone else is a great Christmas.
That's what the spirit is all about.
No, it's definitely what the spirit's all about. And that actually reminds me, two of my neighbors in the apartment that I live in, they actually shared with me what they did during Thanksgiving. But apparently they fed like about 15 folks. And folks might be that's only a small amount, but I think it was like maybe 8 or 9 here in the complex and another 7 that they went and fed at the shelter. But they just did that on their own money and on their own thought pattern. Because like I said, they just woke up and during Thanksgiving, they were like, living in the apartment by themselves and they decided to reach out and help some other folks. So I'm always glad when I hear folks that are doing those kind of things on their own and on their own fruition and all of that. But Nellie, what are some of your Christmas memories?
Oh, wow. I grew up very poorly and I always wanted a Barbie doll that I never got. But after I got older and realized that my grandmother did the best she could, it actually is my favorite. I've decorated my place probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, well about 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I mean even it's just the spirit. I remember when my grandmother would teach us, we would always they would always tell us about the nativity and see how Jesus was wrapped in swaddling clothes, laid in a manger. That was always wonderful and it's very special to me. But the most favorable time of my life is when I couldn't get my kids I told my sons, they were teenagers then, I told them, I said, look, this year I'm not able to get you guys any Christmas presents. And I weren't able to do that because I closed and got my keys to my house on December the 16th, 1998 for my first home ever. And they had their own room for the first time. It was the most exciting thing ever. And to this day, that's my favorite memory in the world.
Wow. Zelda just said in the chats that they make it very big at her house even today. She said that it's all about the birth of the birth of Christ and
That's
giving
right.
gifts because we are all happy that he, meaning Jesus Christ, came into the world. So Zelda was sharing that thoughts from her own perspective and everything. So definitely, I think a lot of times folks forget the whole purpose behind the holidays and things of that nature and get caught up in the commercialization and the whole things around getting the gifts and not thinking about the whole thing around peace and all of that, because that whole important message of peace, which is one that we definitely need in this day and time. But I was wondering, and I'd love to hear from all of you ladies, your thoughts. And I said that I was going to get back to that, but your thoughts about having Kamala as the first VP and which direction you feel the country is going in with the current administration coming in. So I'll start with you, Jess, and then work my way to Dee Dee and then come to the ladies at the bottom. But Jess, what is some of your thoughts about Kamala as the vice president and the direction that we're going at as a country?
I'm very excited. And I feel that this is a great opportunity for Kamala to, I can't pronounce her name. Is it Kamala?
Kamala, I think it's how it's pronounced.
Kamala. Okay.
Like Kamala,
I always have a
Kamala.
hard
Yeah.
time pronouncing her name.
It's Kamala.
Yeah, yeah. And with that said, I think the country is going upwards. We've been in a down slope for the last 4 years with the current president, and her and Biden won the election. It was like a big relief. The depression was lifted. Feeling sad day. Looking at the news and hearing these little tweets and stuff and seeing what he's saying, it really depressed us. So I think with her winning and him winning, that it's an upward.
I agree. Definitely. Dee, what are your thoughts about the way that we're going with this powerful woman that is our vice president and everything? So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, Kamala's from the Bay Area, so I'm glad that we are seeing the progressiveness of women. But I know the Kamala, I know the other Kamala. You guys know the one that you see, but we know the one that put a lot of brothers in jail out here. So I'm hoping that she's able to turn that around and win the support back from the brothers and give them avenues. I mean, even if they're incarcerated or whatever, when they come out, they need to have something to do. But I see her as a positive figure for women. And I just hope they open it up to a lot of other Black women. Because see, sometimes when they get in these positions, we don't see Black women working with them. As in Michelle Obama, when she goes across the United States and do these talks, they're not all Black women. They're not Black women that's working with her. They're white women back there. So if we could get it mixed up a little bit, get a little bit more diversity, I'm with them till the wheels fall off. But until then, I'm gonna be inboxing them. Hey, I didn't see nobody that looked like me.
Yep, that makes sense. What about you, Lady Q? What's your views on the ways that we're going in terms of our country with the new administration and things of that nature?
Well, I'm excited about it. I feel like it's a great movement as far as the women for women. It's a positive thing. So I'm excited about the way things are going, and I hope that she gets it in and just
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Nellie? What is your thoughts about that and everything?
basically take a stand for us.
Yep.
Well, I think that it's gonna take a lot for them. It's so much in the middle of what they're trying to do. But my suggestion would be that they focus on the vaccine. It's a lot that they can't do right now. But one thing I can truly say that I'm for the sake of life, I'm glad that they were the ones that won the election, because right now it would be even worse for us all as a people, because we see how the things were going. We're talking as far as poverty, we're speaking as far as death, with so many things that could have been really bad had we not gotten the red states, had the Democrats not gotten the red state. And I must commend those two, and I commend my father, because I was a praying sister. I am a praying sister, but I prayed a lot more harder, because I know that things had to come to terms with whatever it is. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, y'all can say what you want, or Trump gave me more money than anybody ever have. If it was all about the money, honey, it still wouldn't have been my choice. It's just, and it's not so much that I'm a Democrat, because every president or whoever run for office, they always tell lies. They're gonna lie. They never fulfill their obligations. But one thing I know for a fact, that with them being in there, we stand a chance of living and not being murdered.
Yep, that makes sense. What about yourself, Karen? What are your thoughts about Kamala coming into office and just kind of the direction of the country?
I absolutely think that it's a refreshing change. And my prayer is that they allow that the people will allow them to do their job and to what is set forth for them to do and not try to stand in their way because of hatred or because she's a woman or she's a female, not try to stop them from or hinder them from doing the things that need to be done positive in this world. Again, someone was saying, I want them to concentrate on the things that need be concentrated on and, help bring this world to a better place than it has been. Bring this country, I'm sorry, into a better place than it has been, because only God can bring this world into a better place. But to help with God's assistance, with God's forefront, bring this place into a better existence than.
Amen. Yeah.
No doubt about that. Definitely amen to those remarks and everything. One of the things I was curious about is all of y'all are performers, and I know that I'm actually on the board of the Carolina Theater, which is one of our local theater houses. And unfortunately, it just announced last week that they're going to be closed until June. So there will be no performances there and everything. So how are all of y'all going to be able to cope with what's going on with so many performance places actually doing what the Carolina Theater and a number of other places are doing in the sense of shutting down because of COVID and a number of other things? A lot of the clubs are doing that as well. So I was just wondering if y'all could talk about how y'all are coping as performers, because it has got to be very difficult. I've got friends in all styles of music, everything from jazz to blues to funk to R&B, and all of them are struggling. So I'm just wondering how y'all are coping with what's going on when a number of the venues are shutting down, at least temporarily, because of the pandemic. So, Karen, you've been in the business for a number of years, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Memphis is a great music town, and I imagine that a lot of those venues are also shut down. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as to how you're going to be able to cope over these next several months and going into 2021.
Well, with a lot of prayer is all I can say, is because it is difficult at this time. The shows are far few and in between. We do have some promoters that still going on and still putting on some shows. So, I'm just grateful for that some of the artists are still able to get some type of work. But for me, right now, it's far few and in between. I have been having quite a few calls for the next year. So I'm hoping and I'm praying for a better light and a better day, so that these shows can get back to, everything can get back to some type of normalcy. We may not have the same normal, and I really don't want the same normal, because I want better, but to get back to some type of normalcy, to be able to perform and get back on stage. Yes, some of it is about the money, but a lot of it is about my sanity too at the same time.
That's right.
And I'm just ready for my sanity to be on an even keel and get back up there and do what I love doing.
No, that makes a lot of sense. What about you, Jess? And I know a lot of the shows have also been going virtual, and I know that folks are trying to do as much as they can virtually, but it's not the same. Like I said, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and they were saying that they loved this virtual show. It was actually a rock band that they went to see, and they added the whole VR kind of experience into the show, which made it different. But even they said that it wasn't the same, and I agree, because I've done a couple of these virtual concerts, and it's not the same because you don't have the same kind of vibe to them. But I was just wondering your thoughts as to what you're doing to survive, and if you're doing virtual shows, or how you're managing to survive as a musician and as a singer.
Well, right now I'm mainly kind of focusing on writing songs. So I've been writing a lot of songs. I've been coming up with some good ideas and some great titles of some songs that keep me kind of like focused and keep my mind away from everything else that's going on. And also watched a few virtual concerts myself, and I really enjoyed them, because it's not a lot, that's going on, and I really enjoyed them. And I don't know if this opens it up for me to talk about the Queen's virtual, but we do have a virtual coming up within the next week or so. So, and I'm excited about that, and I've heard a lot of other people is also excited about it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Crystal, I'd love to hear you talk about how the music industry has been impacted in your own personal journey in the music industry with all that's going on with the COVID and a number of the venues that are shutting down. And then I do want to bring Dee Dee back onto the screen as well. And I do want to learn more about this virtual concert that y'all are doing as well, because I am a big fan of virtual concerts. Actually participated in a virtual business workshop about 2 weeks ago, and that was actually very powerful. We had business leaders from throughout the country. It was actually a Black Business Expo, and a number of folks, including George Frazier, Tanya Harris, who I believe is a former WNBA player, and a number of others were part of this great conference that we did. So do know that sometimes the virtual environment can work very well. But Crystal, tell a little bit about how you're doing in terms of just trying to get gigs, whether it's virtual or whether it's trying to find other kind of venues that might be more open than others.
It's hard. For me, I appreciate connecting with the audience. I appreciate being there on stage and someone coming after the show and saying, I really need to hear that tonight. You gave me chill bumps. You really touched my soul. To where on the virtual, you're just in front of a screen. Don't get me wrong. It's still good business. It's still good publicity. But the lack of personalism with the people is what I'm missing. Like Karen was saying, for my sanity, at the end of the day, I'm about to go crazy because I can't get out and sing. And being an up and coming artist, the money is great. I feel like I was just getting into the period of beginning to make some money, but I also have an obligation. I take care of my 87-year-old grandfather. So I refuse to get out chancing or risking not only my health, but putting him in jeopardy just for $1 or $2, because I won't be able to spend it if I'm dead and gone. So I think being an artist, being a musician, it's important to use our platform not only to be successful and have sustainability, but to also lead by a positive example so that we can help heal the nation. That's what music is for. Music is the universal language, and it does all types of amazing things. And God has blessed us all with a gift that we can use and utilize. And even now, being a part of this Queens Project, we're getting the opportunity to connect and network and link up and find out things and learn new things that me as a musician, I wouldn't have known about the digital world. So that's where I am now, trying to get into the virtual side and the things that we would need in order to be able to make it, sustain, just to be able to stay safe and still have a little pocket change while this pandemic is going on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Dee Dee, I saw that you popped out and then you popped back in and everything, but definitely I would love to hear about the virtual concert. I understand that y'all are going to be doing a virtual concert as well with the Queens Project. So if you can share a little bit about how this virtual project is going to be done and when it's going to be done, because I do know that because of the whole thing that's going on with the pandemic, a lot of folks are doing more of their catching of music and entertainment, even plays on the virtual side. So I would love to hear more about this virtual concert that y'all have later on, I guess this month, and how folks can get in tune with learning more about this virtual concert. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. The virtual concert will be December 12th. We will be doing it inside of BB King's, legendary BB King's on Beale Street. We got together. I said, we could do a virtual with all these songs. They're all originals, songs no one's heard, songs that touch on everything. So we decided to do the whole album and add a blues song as well to the show. So to the performance. So we're all doing a blues song. We could have done our own original music, but I thought, why be in BB King's and not do a blues song? So we decided to do that. We made the decision together. This is not an anarchy or a dictatorship. This is a democracy. And we've had a great time putting it together. It's available. It's going to be available through Facebook. The link is on our Facebook pages, where you're able to purchase it to come in and watch it watch it and enjoy it at $9.99. You get 10 queens for $9.99. That's cheaper than the Whopper.
That's a steal.
Sounds like that's gonna be a great show. I know I'm gonna definitely try to attend and watch it and everything. So I definitely plan to be there, catching y'all and everything. And as y'all was saying that it was a democracy and not a dictatorship, I was having this crazy thought in my mind. So I guess that means that and they all are all the queens of the music scene. So I wasn't gonna mention that current person at 1600, but it also sounds like Ivanka or none of the Trumps can show up because they like to do things in a dictatorship kind of way. So it looks like none of them
That
can
wouldn't work
actually
for them.
show up at this particular concert because they would not fit in with what y'all are doing.
Now
And Mark,
we will sell them a ticket.
We still want
we
that
have a Santa, and you favor him, don't he? Don't he look like $2
Yes,
Chuck,
he
y'all?
does. Yes.
You favor
have a
our
Santa.
Santa.
Okay.
Go ahead,
We will-
Dee Dee. I had to get that in.
We will be. There is a live band because we weren't going to go into BB King's with a track show. So there is a live band. Our Santa was able to fly out and make sure that our band was tight because he's a musician and he's been my music director for 8 years, or 9, 10. And he went out there to make sure it was right so that everybody is comfortable. And he was given the strict instructions. That's where the dictatorship comes in. He was given the strict instructions that everybody's song has to sound on point. I didn't want nobody up there wondering, are they going to play my song right? So I wanted everybody comfortable. Everybody had to be comfortable for this virtual, or it wasn't going to happen.
Sounds like it's going to be an amazing concert. And Zelda was apparently saying that I look like this guy as well. I know that my friend that's involved in the whole funk world says that there's a gentleman that's connected to the whole Funkadelic family that they also say that I look like. So I guess I got a couple of lookalikes out there in the world and everything. So there are a couple of lookalikes out there. So I know everybody has their double. So apparently I've got a couple of doubles in the music industry. So I have to find them because apparently they are making more money than I'm making. So I need to catch up with them and figure out a way to get some of their capital.
Yeah.
Right.
But definitely had to figure that out and everything. But definitely, I just wanted to share that with the folks that Zelda had made that comment because, like I said, she has been paying attention and watching, even though she wasn't able to join in the conversation and everything. I am going to give another glance because we have sometimes run into the YouTube police and the Facebook police, but on IBM TV, we don't always care. So I am one of those folks that will bend those rules and everything. So I'm going to put on one of the tracks that I like from Miss Nellie, and that being the one that I've told her that I like, which is not necessarily Mr. Sexy Man, even though I do like that one as well. But I'm a big fan of If I Back It Up. So I'm going to let you folks hear a little bit of If I Back It Up as well.
Let's do it.
Can't get that one on.
This is Nest Audio from Google.
And of course, we're going to get a commercial as well, because sometimes these things happen where they just try to throw you off. We'll just let that go. You can't get to the skip part.
Google, turn up the music. It's the Google Duet Maker. Introducing Nest Audio from Google.
Oh, yeah. I've been dancing in this club, babe, all night long. You've been sitting over there, staring at me like something wrong. I heard you holler, bag it up, and you gave me that sexy smile. Baby, you sure look good to me, and I like your style. If I bag it up, what you gonna do? more than welcome. Come out here on the dance floor. Come show me what you're working with. Show me how low can you go. Now you want me to bag it up. Baby, are you serious? Tell me, can you handle it? 'Cause baby, I'm curious. If I bag it up, what you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do? If I bag it up, what you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do? Now come on, show me what you're working with. Oh yeah, I like it like that. I think you got something there, baby. Come on, get a little closer. Yeah, just like that. If I bag it up, what you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do? If I bag it up, what you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do? If I bag it up, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, I'm gonna put it on you. What you gonna do? Till you bag it up. What you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do? If I bag it up, oh, just what like you that, gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, like what you gonna do? If I bag it up, what you gonna do? If I put it on you, baby, what you gonna do?
No doubt about it. That's definitely one of my favorite songs from Miss Nellie and everything. So definitely enjoy that song and definitely am a big fan of that particular one that Nellie does. Now, for folks that are watching that are from around the globe, because we do have a global community that watches on the International Broadcast Media Network and everything, what would you say? Or two questions. One is for those that are trying to figure out they don't have a queen in their life, but they want to get a queen in their life. What do you think are the 6 reasons or the things that they should do to get that queen in their life? All the queens here are definitely have gentlemen in their life, so somebody caught them and everything. So what do you think that it takes to get a successful queen in somebody's life and all of that? Because I know that I'm in that middle-aged group of 58 and have had a couple of queens, but don't have one in the current life. So definitely, what are the reasons and things that you need in order to catch a queen in your life? So I'll start with Jess. Jess, what are the things that you need to catch a queen in your life? And then I'll hear for the rest of them as well.
Well, my thoughts on it is, treat the woman like she's the queen. Treat her like a queen. And if you treat her like a queen, she'll treat you like a king. That's
definitely. What about you, Karen? What are your thoughts on that?
Consistency. Be consistent in what you're doing. Don't sway, don't swag, because you're gonna start the woman to wandering, and you're gonna run her off. Stay consistent and absolutely be a king.
All right. What about you, Crystal? What are your thoughts?
Lealtad sobre todo. Loyalty over everything.
Makes a lot of sense. And what about you, Lady Q? Don't hear you.
We can.
Sure, her volume might not be up. Still don't hear her. While we're waiting for that, we'll see what Dee Dee's thoughts are. Because she says, oh.
You want my thoughts?
Yes,
Sure.
Dee Dee, it's on you. I want your thoughts.
Well, 58 is a good age. 58 is a person that knows what he wants. If you want a queen, you need to know what you want. So you at the ripe age of 58. You should by this time know what you want. And knowing what you want lets the woman know if we're able to give you that. And as long as you give us and take care of us and provide for us, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be treated like a king. Other than that, we just want real love. Real love. We want honesty. Like Crystal said, loyalty, and someone that's going to support us. If you don't get that, then you just want another woman. You don't really want a queen.
That's right.
Makes a lot of sense. What about yourself, Nellie Tiger Travis? What are your thoughts?
Well, I am a queen for sure. I am a queen for life. I have so much love to give, so much of me to give. And he who finds a queen, finds a good thing.
Makes a lot of sense. What about yourself, Lady Q?
I just say you put God.
Yeah, she was definitely giving some deep thoughts about what were you saying? Put God first.
First, and open the lines up for communication at all times. And the way you start out should be the way you remain. Don't start nothing that you're not gonna keep up, and treat each other with respect and dignity, and you'll find your queen, and then the guys, you can be treated like a king.
Makes a lot of sense and everything. Like I said, this is a global network, so a lot of times we've got folks that are from around the world, and they don't always know necessarily Southern Soul the way that we know it here in the United States and all of that. So I would love to hear y'all's thoughts about the music and what kind of message you would give to folks from other parts of the world if they don't necessarily know about Southern Soul as a reason that they should listen to it. Like I know we've got a gentleman that listens regularly and participates regularly from Australia. One of our producers is from India, so we do have folks from all over. There's another gentleman that does a show from Nigeria and a couple of folks that do shows out of South Africa. So we've got folks from throughout the globe. And like I said, I know that this is definitely a global music, but sometimes all the parts of the globe don't always know the different styles of blues and things of that nature. So if for those that are not familiar with Southern Soul, what is the reason that they should start listening to it if say they're from Asia or they're from Africa or a number of the other continents? So I'll start with you again, Jess.
I think Southern Soul music is fun. Is danceable, got a lot of fun lyrics, and the reason people should listen to it if they just want to have a good time.
That makes sense. What about you, Karen? What's the reason that folks should be paying attention to Southern Soul and learning about the different styles of Southern Soul musicians that are out there?
Well, because it has a message. Most of it has a message, especially that has tag to it. It has a message. It sends a message. The music is it starts from God, the gospel. It starts from the gospel roots, and it just gets down in your soul as far as the music is concerned. And the lyrics, when they make sense, people like to hear songs that relate to them. So, and a lot of the Southern Soul music relate to different types of people, all different types of people. So, all genre of people. So, I think it's a twist between rhythm and blues. So, it's a twist between that. So, I wouldn't just say Southern Soul. I would just say soul music, soul blues music. It's just something to listen to because it all has a message.
No, definitely agree with that. Didi, what are some of the reasons that you would have folks from around the globe, because we are a global network here on IBM TV, that they should start listening to more of the soul music or the Southern Soul music? So what are some of the reasons that you think folks should listen not just to the Queens, but to the whole genre as a whole?
Well, I think it's like a good old card game. A Southern Soul, you just talk mess back and forth, and you say what's on your mind. We don't have to pretty it up like R&B. I don't have to go get no thesaurus to write a song, but we sure can sit at the table and slap cards and play dominoes. And I can tell you how good my stuff is, and you can tell me how good your stuff is. So
Definitely.
this is sexy music, man. This is sexy music. This is sexy bedroom talk music most of the time that we get to say on a big platform.
Grown folks.
Grown folks, thank you.
What about you, Crystal? What is the reason folks should be paying more attention to Southern Soul on the global market and everything?
First of all, because you're guaranteed to find one of us queens on there. We all got some great music. I just had to throw that in. But I mean, as well with the other artists, whether it's Southern Soul, soul, blues, it's just a genre. It's still great substance. great quality, great individuals with great storylines. And, you get a little bit of it all. We can make you laugh, but at the same time, we can make you cry. We can make you laugh so hard where you want to cry. So I think that it's just give it a chance. Just as we would any other category or genre of music, it still deserves a right to be listened to, loved, and respected.
Makes a lot of sense. What about you, Lady Q? What's the reason that folks should be paying more attention globally to this great music?
I feel like they should, because it is so soulful, and you can cook to it, you can party to it. When you're going through a bad relationship, you can cry to it. I mean, it's a great genre of music, and it tells a story. It's soulful.
Definitely. What about you, Nellie?
I'm sorry.
Well, for me, I think a lot of people, the greatest thing about it, being the music that we do, the soul blues music, the great thing, a lot of people don't get to hear it on other parts of the world. That's what makes it great with the globalness of it. It makes it great because people they never heard that. When I lived in Chicago, the first time I started hearing that music, because I was doing blues, I'm like, who is that? And it reminds me, it's like a blues and a gospel song connected, together. So you get to feel every part of that person's bone when they delivering that song. And the greatest thing about it all is the fact that it is going mainstream. It's gonna hit mainstream one day.
Yep. I definitely think it's definitely going mainstream and everything. One of the things I was curious about, and we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the conversation, but all of you have done some great things and everything, but of course, everybody is influenced by folks. So who are some of the folks that influenced you in your own musical journey? So I'll start with you, Karen. Who were some of the folks that influenced you, whether they were blues artists, whether they were jazz, R&B, or whatever, but who were some of the folks that were your influences in terms of your own development in your career?
Definitely Denise LaSalle, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, Luther Vandross, all the way down to Beyonce. I mean, I'm just a music lover. I like country music. The only music I don't really get into much is probably fusion music and fusion music, or fusion music and rock. Those are the two things that I really just don't really get into. I don't knock them, but I don't just understand them, I guess. But I other than that, I like all types of music, and country music is a big thing with me.
No, I'm definitely a fan of country music. I always times think of country music as almost being like a cousin of the blues, and while there might be some of the folks singing it, but they definitely are very much cousins.
You talk about telling a story. Country music definitely tells a story.
You can tell a story.
Oh yeah.
No doubt about that. Crystal, who were some of the folks that influenced you?
My mother first, Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway, Al Green, Lenny Kravitz. I'm a musician, so I love anyone that Stevie Wonder. I love the craft of being able to play and sing, produce, arrange. So the Eagles. I get excited by Johnny Taylor. I get excited by a lot of great artists and musicians. All inspirations.
Wow. What about you, Dee? Who were some of the folks that influenced you in your musical journey?
Let me see. I love Ray Charles. I love Shirley Caesar, James Moore, James Cleveland, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight, Gladys Knight, Whitney Houston, Donna Summer, Shaka Khan. Oh, yeah. I can go on and on. I can go Peabo Bryson.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey Osborne. Al Jarreau.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's some great folks in that list. Al Jarreau spending some time in Milwaukee, and I went to college in Milwaukee, so I got to see Al Jarreau perform a couple of times, and I'm here in Durham, so I know where Shirley Caesar's church is and things of that nature, so she's definitely connected to the whole Triangle area, so definitely connected to what we call Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, which is considered the Triangle region of North Carolina. But Jess, who are some of the folks that are your inspirations?
I sort of grew up with Mavis Staples, so she was one of my inspirations, and Aretha Franklin. Whitney Houston was also, as I got into the R&B type of music. Another one that I'm was really fond of was Tina Turner. I used to always try to sing like her. So, and if you listen to some of my songs, I may have just a little bit of her, and a couple of my songs that you can hear the Tina. But those were my inspirations.
Okay. And what about you, Lady Q?
Well, my first inspiration definitely is Tina Turner. She's been my idol since I was a little bitty girl while my dad played the guitar. But others are Peggy Scott Adams, Denise LaSalle, Shirley Brown, Millie Jackson, Johnny Taylor, ZZ Hill, any of those. Mel Waiters. I love blues. So any of those.
Definitely. What about you, Nellie?
Oh my God, where do I start at? I think in another life I was Tina Turner. You know, I used to wear the wigs. I did all of that. It was Tina Turner. It was Gladys Knight. I had the pleasure of opening for Gladys before. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do it for Tina. It was always one of my dreams. But for blues, it was Coco Taylor, Denise LaSalle. And let me tell you, I could have, if it was anything I could have done to keep Whitney Houston alive, I would have, because I love her soul. I love her spirit. I love Tasha Cobbs. I love my new girl, Lord, deliver me.
Leandria.
Yeah. Leandria
Johnson.
But and I grew up with Shirley Caesar singing No Charge. That was one of the songs I had to do in church. But it's so many of the greats, and they all in some way or some form have made an impact on my life as of today's music.
No doubt about that. What advice would you give to folks that are trying to break into the music and everything? Because I know a lot of folks are trying to break into the music industry. Some of them are older musicians, and some of them are younger musicians. But for folks that are trying to think about breaking into this music industry, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say to them that the humping is real. And I suggest that they learn everything they can about the industry, learn everything they can before they sign anything, read contracts, because some of the worst things have happened to me in life from taking things for granted. I would say to them, and learn to be a queen and not somebody out there that just want to gossip and run their mouth and not doing their own homework. Learn to be a queen as we are, and you can get further.
That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Karen? What advice would you give folks? And I want to hear from Crystal as well.
I would just tell them to stay true to themselves and believe in whatever they believe in. Stay true to that, and continue to pray and seek God for their purpose in life, because some people need to be on the usher board. It don't mean that everybody can sing just because you want to sing. So, and some people need to be on the deacon board, so or the mother board or whatever, somebody's board. But I would just say, continue to pray and ask God to show you your purpose in life. And if that's singing, then just stay true to that path. And, whatever you believe in and trust in, believe me, trust me. God said if you make one step, he'll make two, and it'll happen for you.
That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Jesi? What kind of advice would you give to folks?
I would actually say also to mainly learn the business and stay true to themselves, and not to let anyone discourage them from their dreams and live their dreams.
That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Crystal?
Advice I would give someone: always stay positive, stay humble. It's gonna be hard. That's expected. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. Believe in your craft. If you think that you lack something in your skill set, work on your skill set. Never let anyone diminish your light, spirit, or your gift.
Hey, can I say this right quick? When I count to three, y'all, let's say Crystal's word. 1, 2, 3. Now
that's positive.
That was great. What about you, Lady Q? What kind of advice would you give to folks?
I would say, don't let anybody discourage you of reaching your dreams and your goals. And it doesn't matter how old you are, long as you still have breath in your body and the activity of your limbs and in your right mind, you can still reach your dreams and your goals. And I would say promote yourself, learn about the business, push yourself to your highest expectation, and build your brand and invest in yourself.
No doubt about that. You got to build your brand and invest in everything. And I wasn't going to let just the stars get away with getting a little bit of limelight in terms of music and everything. And I do have a couple of the other ones that I was going to pull up. And this one is actually belonging to Jesi. So I want to know what looking for a good thing is all about as well, because that's the one I found of Jesi's is looking for a good thing. So tell us about what kind of good thing were you looking for and about this particular song.
Well, this particular song was actually written by Howard and Walter Scott, Scott Brothers in Chicago. And we came up with the idea of looking for a good thing. We were listening to one of Lee Shot Williams' songs, and it had this real sassy groove on it. So I said to myself, let's write something and just change the groove a little bit. And that's where it came from, really, as far as looking for a good thing. So I wrote the lyrics along with them, and
we'll let folks check out a little bit of We're Looking for a Good Thing as well. And we'll let folks check out a little bit of this music from Jesi. So like I said, I think I'm going to try to pull up one from Dee as well and see if I can't find one or two of the other ladies as well, because we do love hearing all of these great songs that you amazing ladies have put together. And by the way, I'm glad that I now consider, Nellie already knows that I consider her a new friend, and I consider that I made 7 new friends from y'all as well. So definitely glad to have y'all in the Lee Entertainment family and in the family of folks that I try to support. So I definitely consider all of y'all to be some amazing ladies, and glad to now add y'all to my friend list from around the globe, because we got folks from Memphis, we got folks from Atlanta and Chicago and all kinds of parts of what's going on. I think we got Dee representing the West Coast.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we can get it going.
Knows what I want, where, and he knows what I need. He knows how to jump into it, yeah, and be able to lead. Let me tell you that I made up my mind. I'm not wasting time. I'm looking for a good thing. Real daddy. I'm looking for a good thing. Oh, yes, I am. I went to my mother, cause she tried to teach me right. Don't just go get any man and end up with one that's not so right. What you want, well, and you're getting what you need. It's not always a pleasure, Mama said, cause they fall down on the knee. Don't you know that I'm not wasting time? I'm ready to take my mind. Oh, I'm going for a good night. Real sexy day. I'm looking for a good thing. Oh, yes, I am. So come here, treat me when I'm home. Treated like a lady, like a queen to be exact. Hold me when I need it, yeah, just to keep me on the right track. Let me tell you that I made up my mind. I'm not wasting time. Oh, I'm looking for a good thing, real steady. I'm looking for a good thing. Oh, yes, I am. Sweet, sweet, sweet. I want that to please me. I'm looking for a good who knows how to teach me. Sweet, sweet. He ain't got to feel the power. Your love got to be, got to feel
Wow. What a great song and everything.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. You disappeared.
Good thing. I like that, Queen Jesi.
Thank you.
Where he go?
I don't know. I said he disappeared.
Where Nellie
That's
go?
all that firepower in the queendom.
I can't hear you, Karen.
I said, yeah, we're in here alone now, are we? I said, I got to bail anyway. I got to cook my husband some food, ladies.
I think maybe he got cut off with the music.
No, there we go.
So,
We're back.
There you
So
go.
we're gonna have
there
a conversation
he
even without me.
is.
That's okay. But that's things happen every once in a while. But if we could, I'd love to hear from each of you. If you could share your personal ways and your personal emails, because like I said, I know the Queen's Project is a major project, and of course, folks are definitely impressed by all that y'all have done with the Queen's Project. But I would love to hear y'all also share a little bit about how folks can reach you personally, whether that's on YouTube or whether that's on Facebook or a number of other ways that folks can reach you. So for the ladies that I've got here with me and everything, and I think I can bring up let's see, now I can bring up Nellie as well because she's back in the backstage area, so I can bring her up. But if folks can just learn how they can get in touch with you on an individual basis. So Karen, how can folks reach you?
They can reach me at first of all, they can reach me on Facebook. They can reach me on IG. They can reach me on Twitter. They also can reach me at my email, KarenWolf1959@gmail.com. And you can reach me at any of those places.
All right. And what about you? Jess? How can folks reach you?
I can be also reached on Facebook. Jesi Terrell is spelled JesiTerrell. I can be reached on Instagram the same way. And my email is Jesi Terrell, JesiTerrell@AOL.com.
Sounds great. And what about you, Dee? How can folks reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook and Dee Simon, Dee's house. Authentic Dee Simon at gmail.com.
Sounds great. How about you, Lady Q? How can folks reach you?
And you can reach me on Facebook as Lady Q, Queen of Soul. And on Instagram, I'm Lady Q, Queen of Soul. And my email address is Birdie, BIRDIE, Lou, LOU, 36@gmail.com.
Sounds great. And also, definitely, we know that folks can reach Nellie and everybody. But Crystal, how can folks reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook at Crystal Thomas, Crystal Style Thomas. My YouTube and Instagram, Crystal Thomas Country Girl. You can also reach me at countrygirlcrystalthomas@gmail.com. And lastly, www.crystalthomasblues.com.
Oh, yeah, I forgot my.
There it is. I was wondering why I didn't hear no website.
Yeah, I forgot my website.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot my website.
Yep, you can add the website as well.
Mine is KarenWolfMusic.com.
Okay, and what about you, Jesi? Oh, you're on silent. You're on mute. There we go.
It's Jesi Terrell at Wix.com.
All right. And what about you, Lady Q?
She's frozen.
She's frozen. So
NellieTigerTravis.com.
Can you hear me?
What was it again, Lady Q?
Mine is Lady Q Apparel and more. All my information is there.
Sounds great. And it sounds like you're not just, so it sounds like you're doing multiple things. You're not just doing the music thing, but you're also doing the fashion industry as well.
LadyQ.squarespace.com.
And Nellie, what about yourself?
Oh, gosh.
NellieTigerTravis.com.
Can y'all hear me?
You can reach me on IG as Nellie Travis.
I can't hear
I
y'all.
have my fan page is Nellie Tiger Travis. That's my Facebook fan page, and my regular page on Facebook is Nellie Travis. I can be reached anywhere. Just call me, y'all. You know how to reach me. I'm here. Anytime, any place, anywhere.
I hear y'all randomly. Y'all are coming in.
I know that's right. And Zelda did say that she could be reached on YouTube as Zelda Thomas, and she also said that she could be reached by email at ZeldaThomas777. I think that's 3 7s at yahoo.com. And her website apparently is ZeldaTheSinger.com. She was also saying that I played one of her songs, which one she would like to hear me play and everything. So I'm going to see about that. But before because I've got a few more minutes, I might be able to get to that one. But Dee, I did find one of yours, which is If I Leave You. So tell me a little bit about that before I pull it up and everything. So tell us about If I Leave You, Dee.
Well, that song was produced by Dwayne and Tony, and Juanita Wynn of the Wynn Sisters. And she sat down and asked me, she wanted to write the song for me. And I said, okay, you know, I'm usually used to writing my own music, but I was happy that somebody was going to write for me. And she says, what do you want to sing about? I said, well, I don't know, you know, and then she just started asking me stuff about my life. And I said, well, yeah, you know, right now, you know, I think my husband's taking me for granted. You know, I think I'm about to get up out of here, you know. And she said, well, what about that song? I said, that. Then she started writing down lyrics and reading the lyrics. I said, oh, yeah, that's it. I said, yeah. I said, because I'm telling you, I'm going to leave in a minute.
So she was thinking about leaving, and that's what this song is all about. So we're going to bring that on and let folks check out If I Leave You. So this is a little bit.
Still thinking about leaving.
Yeah. Girl,
she's like, I'm not giving up on that idea. That's just wrong. Does he know this?
Moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. Enbrel helps relieve joint pain.
He do now.
He knows. It's all over the airways, so of course he knows it now.
No, we know now.
He's going global.
You could pretend like you're happy. You could pretend that you don't care if I leave you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know your ways, I even know you're happy. So lie to yourself or someone else, 'cause I already know the truth. If I leave you, you won't sleep at night. You'll be reminiscing on the way you did me wrong. If I leave you, you'll be missing me, wondering it's too late for me to come back home. I'm back to packed and I'm ready.
Now, to be absolutely fair and everything, I have to let y'all know two things. One, my friend Stephen Kaplan, who is a photographer out of New York, so he was checking the whole conversation out as well. So give Stephen a shout out because he's definitely a major international photographer, has done work with the New York Times and a number of other folks. So he's been enjoying our conversation and was checking us out. So
Hi,
he gave us a
Stephen.
Hi,
thumbs up, and all of
Stefan.
that. So definitely give him a shout out. And I've also got to let folks know that are into those If I Leave You songs, that's actually a two-way street because I know that in my own life I had to like walk away as well. So I had to like do that whole packing up the bags and I had to like leave because the person was not treating me right. So, while you queens like to be treated right, the kings like to be treated right as well. So I was definitely
That's right.
going on that side and there was some things going on. So I just remember that they went to work, I got my bags, I headed out the door. So sometimes we got to do that same thing as well.
Yeah.
Very
I think
good.
98, at least
Absolutely.
95% of women have done it in life, in history,
Yep. That is
Yep.
very true, but sometimes the guys have to do it as well. Sometimes you got to walk
Oh,
away
yeah.
from those bad situations. If they're bad situations, sometimes you just got to walk away because sometimes you don't want to have the drama, whether you're a man or a woman, because that drama can be a little bit too much of a pain and everything. So that's just the
Yes.
way I feel about it. So I know a lot of the guys feel that way as well. One of the things I always do, and I am going to try to bring up Zelda's song to kind of wrap everything up, but one of the things I always do toward the end of every show is I try to give folks a chance to give like a positive message that they would like to share with the world. I know that I did that with Nellie the last time she was on, so I'd love to hear y'all give a positive thought that you would like to share with this global community and everything. And no, you can't be telling that you're getting ready to walk off from somebody. You've already made that public announcement to the world and everything, but anything that you would like to share publicly. So, Crystal, so what is something that you want to share in the sense of giving a positive message to the globe as we're dealing with all these things that are going on, whether that's the racial unrest, whether that's the pandemic, whether that's folks like myself still trying to get that next stimulus check, and who the heck knows when that's coming.
In the midst of everything that's
Woo.
going on, no matter how negative, no matter how dark it may be, I want everyone to always remember it doesn't cost a dime to be kind.
Amen.
Amen on that. What about you, Jesi? What kind of positive words would you like to share with folks?
To put God first.
Amen.
Yep, amen on that. What about you, Dee Dee? Yep, Dee Dee.
Be nice to the elderly. I said be nice to the elderly. There's a lot of elders that are suffering at this time. Give them a smile. That you can't touch them. Touch is everything. So, I'm all about the elderly population. Love them.
Amen.
No doubt about that. What about you, Lady Q?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine would be just remember that God is not finished yet, regardless of what we're going through and what we've been through in 2020, all the things that we've had to face. God is still, he sits high and look low. And so he's still on his throne. And just remember, he's not finished yet. So whatever you're going through, he will see you through.
That's very true and everything. What about you, Nellie? What kind of words of encouragement would you like to share with folks as we get ready to wrap everything up and let folks know what's going on in the world, and any words that you would like to share with folks?
Well, I would like to say to the people to just keep on being great as you are and continue to love your neighbor as you do thyself, and know that there's always a greater day ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep, definitely a greater day ahead, and definitely folks have to understand that there are better days ahead for sure. So I know a lot of folks are very much hoping for those better days and waiting for those better days and all of that. So definitely glad to have all of y'all join me here on the show. It was a great show, and I knew that Nellie had told me that when I would get these tremendous ladies that I was in for a definite treat and all of that. And speaking of definite treats, on the third show that I do on IBM TV, which is the online dinner party, we're going to have a whole conversation around education, and that's going to be involving some educational leaders. So they're going to be talking about everything from what's going on with our kids and virtual education to how they're coping with virtual education to a number of other issues, including how law enforcement is treating our kids when they are in the schoolroom. So Nancy Sulla, who is a new friend of mine as well, has organized some educators. This will actually be our second educational summit. The last time she lives in Florida, if I remember correctly, but she brought me folks from New York, from Texas, and I believe from around the New Jersey area. So they covered all the regions of the country, and who knows where these next folks will be coming from. But it'll definitely be a great conversation, and that'll be a similar time frame to what I've had you ladies with. So it'll be a 47.
We're going to make sure we get the link to you so that the global people get to see our concert. I think we should be able to, Dee, are you able to give him the link today?
It's on my Facebook page. So
okay.
If he's on Facebook, I can share it. I can share it to your Facebook.
Because we want everybody that's watching today, we want you all to view our concert. You will not be disappointed. And it's once again, it's only $9.99.
$9.99. You will not be disappointed.
That's right.
You cannot beat that at all. So there will be no disappointment whatsoever. Folks will not be. They've heard
it firsthand. So they got to know that they got some more great coming. And not to mention the ones that weren't here. Oh my God. You all heard it firsthand.
They heard some tremendous music and some great music and all of that. I know Zelda had said that she wanted me to pull up the song Forever, but unfortunately I'm not finding that one. But I also believe that she did a song called I Love. So if that's one of hers as well, then I think that's the one that we're going to have to play on this particular case. Or maybe
Giving Me the Eye. Either one of those were great. They all are.
Right. Well, we'll go with He's Giving Me the Eye, because I do see He's Giving Me the Eye. So, and that sounds like that's more along the lines of what we've been dealing with and everything. So we'll finding out by hearing He's Giving Me the Eye, and that'll be the one that we'll use to close out the show and all of that. But I know we're in for a definite treat. Like I said, I am definitely planning to be attending that virtual concert. And yes, I am on Facebook. I've got several connections. I've actually got a couple of pages. So I will be making that connection to all of you ladies on here, and definitely I'm looking forward to attending that concert and having all of the various friends attend the concert as well, whether that's folks like Stephen or folks like Tim that was watching from Pennsylvania, or a number of other folks as well. So definitely we'll be joining that and trying to have as many of these folks join and catch this great and amazing concert. But as we wrap everything up, we're going to hear a little bit of Zelda Thomas, and we're going to hear the song entitled He's Giving Me the Eye. So that'll be the one that we'll use to close everything out. And I think that y'all are in for a definite treat with this one as well. So I want to thank all of you ladies for joining me.
We thank you so much, Mark. I truly, my hats off to you. I thank you, and we all thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. It was a great treat, and I definitely enjoyed meeting some new friends. Like I said, I've definitely got friends in the music industry. I'm always glad to make new friends, and I know I told Nellie that I was already playing her music on the blues show that I do on WCOM, and I've been playing Karen, but I can guarantee you, ladies, that y'all will also be getting played some of these songs that I have been playing that I have not been playing. So Lady Q and Dee Dee, y'all will also be getting some airplay on the radio stations that I'm involved in as well. And of course, we'll other things here on the IBM platform as well. So we'll be definitely getting your music out as much as possible.
That's what's up. Thank you much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He caught my eyes, he was winking, and I stood there standing mesmerized. Ooh, yeah, he's watching me, he's been giving me the eye. Ooh, all night long, he's giving me the eye. Yeah, he's watching me, he's been giving me the eye. I had to move a little closer. Curiosity was tearing me apart. I asked his name. He said Tony, and his number he gave me to call anytime. He's giving me the We danced and danced all through the night. His conversation was oh so right. He turned me on when he stared in my eyes. Girl, let me tell you, he had me hypnotized. Yeah, he's watching me. He's been giving me the eye. Yes, he did. All I know is giving me the eye. Oh yeah, he's watching me. He's been giving me the eye. All I know is giving me the eye. Girl, can you see him watching me? He's giving me the eye. Girl, look. He's giving me the eye. Girl, should I go over there? He's giving me the eye. Girl, oh, he's so fine. He's giving me the eye. Girl, he's giving me the eye. Girl, I wonder how he dance. He's giving me the eye. Girl, I can only imagine. He's giving me the eye. Girl, we dance and dance all through the night. His conversation was oh so right. He turned me on when he stared in my eyes. Girl, let me tell you, he had me hypnotized. Yeah, he watching me. All I know is giving me the eye. He's watching me. He's watching me. He's been giving me the eye. Oh yeah. All I know is giving me the eye. Got me hypnotized. He's been giving me the eye. Oh, he's watching me. All I know he's giving me the eye. And he's watching me. Oh, he's giving me the eye. And he's watching me. He's watching me. Oh, he's watching me.
Once again, that wraps up another edition of Mullings Music and Memories here on the International Broadcast Media Network. And I do want to thank all of these great ladies for joining me in this conversation. And of course, we'll be getting ready to do our third podcast. So y'all can join me on Blog Talk Radio, where I do the audio version from 7 to 9. But definitely, this was a great conversation. We have a lot of great music. We heard some Christmas songs. We heard some traditional Southern blues. And of course, we met these great ladies that are doing some tremendous things in our society and are doing some great things in the music world. So definitely look forward to having them back on in the near future. So hopefully they'll pop back in either as a collective group with some of their additional friends or in an individual basis, the way that Nellie did one time before. So they know that they are all part of the family and are always welcome to come back and join the conversation anytime that they feel like it. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up and head into the audio podcast world, because my friend Dean is probably over there looking like, where the heck is Marc? He should have been here 3 minutes ago. So I got to get ready to bounce off and do that. But it was definitely a great time. And I thoroughly enjoyed having these great ladies and these tremendous talents on. If you don't know the Queens Project, you need to learn about it. You definitely learned about it over these last several hours. And hopefully many of you will be going out and getting this dynamic Christmas album, but also getting the albums of these ladies that are doing some great things on a regular basis. So like I said, they've all got product out there, and we need to be supporting them, because these are some tremendous queens in the music world, and we need to do it as our part to support these amazing ladies. So on that note, I'm out of here. The ladies are out of here as well, but I do want to thank everybody for being on the show.
Love you, ladies. Thank you all.
Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Love you, Marc. We thank you.
Thank you, Marc.
Yeah.